Hey, happy Friday. It's December 12th, 2025, and I'm Pat Kreitlow up here on Lake Wissota. A lot more snowy than that and a lot colder than when I took that picture. In fact, right now my little Apple Watch says we're at one degree above zero here in Chippewa Falls. Coming up, some surprisingly good news. It turns out that politicians can regenerate a spine. At least that's what happened in Indiana, where Republicans brushed off President Trump. There were more Republicans voting no on a gerrymandered map than yes yesterday. Just a real rebuke on the president's efforts to cheat, to rig a map. Things were not nearly as brave and useful in the U.S. Senate, where they took votes on trying to make health care more affordable for Americans. And even though restoring the enhanced subsidy tax credits for the Affordable Care Act got 51 votes, that means nothing in the U.S. Senate. So Keya Vakil will talk to us about that. Mandela Barnes is our special guest just after the 8 o'clock news, and we'll have our panel with Kristen Lyerly, Joan Esposito, and Jim Santel. Plus, Mike Clemens previews the weekend in sports. They all get started at 6:06 all across the Civic Media Radio Network, and right here. We will see you right after the news.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. Madison alders have adopted the next phase of housing changes. It's the third housing package this year. Affordable housing is one of the biggest issues facing the city of Madison and Dane County, if not the biggest. And the average home here is now worth more than $480,000. Redfin says Madison will be one of the hottest housing markets in the country next year. These new proposals allow higher density in some of the busiest transportation corridors of the city, like East Wash, Northport Drive, Park Street, and Mineral Point Road. Those areas can now have 3 and 4 plexes. It also allows the creation of cottage courts. That means there could be up to 8 units of condos or freestanding homes, all centered around one small court. Megan Tuttle, director of the city's planning division.
What we gain here is another housing option.
It all plays into the goal of creating more housing in the missing middle.
This allows us to consider additional small housing types that could be, in this case, clusters of small homes that share a lot, that could help us add additional housing choices within neighborhoods.
Over the last few months, city officials have adopted ordinances to allow duplexes citywide, make it easier to add backyard units, and increase allowable height for new buildings. Alder Wilokovich says Portland, Oregon did a lot of these same changes that Madison is implementing, and there they worked.
The average sale price of a lot of these missing middle housing types was $600,000, which sounds like a lot, but the average market rate house was selling for $900,000. So it's 33% less or $300,000 less for the missing middle housing types, which is a pretty significant difference for a lot of people who are looking to buy houses.
After passing that housing package, the Common Council has wrapped up work for this year. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson, 92.7 WMDX News.
A win for the Bucks. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. NBA, the Bucks with a much-needed victory, 116-101 over the Boston Celtics in five-serve form. Milwaukee's Kyle Kuzma with a season-high 31 points. Doc Rivers says the adjustments they worked on in practice this week leading up to the game worked.
One of the things we talked to you guys about going in the break was correcting our spacing. I thought we had room tonight. Guys wasn't in the wrong spots. When a guard drove, he knew where the other guy was at. I thought we played a very organized basketball game tonight.
NFL, the Packers fly to Denver tomorrow to play the Broncos Sunday afternoon at 3:25. Denver tied for first place in the AFC with a record of 11-2. How has Denver been able to win so many close games with a young quarterback like Bo Nix?
9 of the 11 games, they've come back in the fourth quarter, and so I think that obviously deservingly so, he gets a ton of credit for that. And then the defense and special teams, I mean, it's a really good football team.
That's Packers head coach Matt LaFleur with Sports on Mike Clemens.
Your neighbors are talking. Leaders are deciding. Madison's story unfolds daily on 92.7 WMDX.
Cloudy today with some snow by late this morning into this afternoon. It won't be much, a half inch or less of accumulation. Our high today, 25. Tonight, mostly cloudy. We're going to drop to around 1 below zero. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a high of only 5 above. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Outside now, it's 4 above.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Pete Schwaba.
A mom popped into elementary school to deliver some paperwork, leaving her 10-year-old son in the car outside. They found the car in the garage and the child in the house with the dad. He had had an argument with his mom and decided to drive himself home. Officers declined to charge the boy because he's too young to be held criminally responsible. Put that kid in juvie, baby.
Don't worry, officer. We're going to ground him.
Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. Weeknights from 5 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media.
Okay, sorry. You don't get a 30 seconds warning from the kid when there's
Apparently
a story
not.
like that.
No, somebody's sleeping in. All right, fine.
Now, with a story like that, come on.
Across Wisconsin on Civic Media, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. Now, from our Lake Wissota studio, here's the founding editor of Up North News, Pat Kreitlow.
Well, hey there, Wisconsin. Good morning. We made it to Friday. It's Friday morning, December 12th, 2025. 12/12/2025. Another beautiful morning to have you here up north. Live from Lake Wissota, from wherever you're listening, across the Civic Media Radio Network, or through a podcast, or maybe through the app coming through your Bluetooth speaker in your car or home. We appreciate you wrapping up your work week right here with less than 2 weeks now to go until Christmas. I got a question for you. Who knew that Indiana would prove to be the moral center of the Republican Party that we used to know? Because Republican senators in their legislature yesterday voted down an order basically from Donald Trump to rig the maps so badly in Indiana, a state that is overwhelmingly Republican, a state that is 7-2 in its congressional delegation, but to rig the maps to make it 9 Republicans and no Democrats in Congress from the state of Indiana. And the Republican senators in the Indiana legislature told him to pound sand. I am every so often reminded that there are still good people who are engaged in public service that I won't agree with on many, many issues, but at least they still have the spinal fortitude to stand up and understand when something is so amazingly wrong, even if it benefits them politically. So God bless those Indiana Republicans. 7-2 is still a pretty good congressional map. No need to devolve to third world country status. So good work out of you. Our numbers here are 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. You can call or text or use that Civic Media app. And our question of the day actually goes like this. Which candidate is in the strongest position right now to be elected Wisconsin's next governor in the 2026 election? I don't mean if the election were held today. I'm just saying that right now, if you had to go up to the betting window and slide a $2 bill over and say, put it on this person, who's in the strongest position right now? No guarantee that they will win, but what's it looking like? Why do I ask this? Because I think several people would say former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, and he's going to be here live 2 hours from right now. Former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes recently announced his candidacy for governor, a Democratic field that now has 7 candidates in there, and he will be joining us live just after the 8 o'clock news. We talked to Joel Brennan live yesterday when he became the 7th candidate to get into the Democratic race, a former top official in the Tony Evers administration during his first term. And we'd love to know your thoughts on whether this candidate field is pretty well set. Like Joe Zepecki told us yesterday, he doesn't really foresee anybody else getting into the race at this point. This is the field here. And do you have a favorite, or do you have one that even if they're not your favorite, you think this is probably the one who could win, should win. We'd love your thoughts at 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. And then keep that Civic Media app handy for texting us, because just under an hour from now will be the start of the final day of our grown-up gift list text-to-win contest. This is it. Yep, at the 7 o'clock hour this morning, and then 9 and 11 a.m., and then 1, 3, 5, and 7 p.m. You'll get different keywords each time. Text them in. We've got one more daily prize of $200 cash to give to somebody from among all of today's entries. And every entry gets you in the running for 3 different great grand prizes. Head to civicmedia.us to learn more, but get set to be part of that contest 1 hour from now. Parker Olson is producing this shindig down in Madison Studio A2. And looking like, I mean, I don't see, he doesn't have an Afghan wrapped around him, so I guess the heat works a little bit there.
Yeah.
I mean, it can, but I say that because, I mean, listen to these temperatures. 9 below is the cold spot right now in Wautoma. Hayward's at 8 below. Rice Lake is at 4 below, as is Black River Falls. Richland Center is at -2, as is Wisconsin Rapids. It's 0 degrees here in the Chippewa Valley right now and in Oshkosh. 1 above in Wausau, 3 above in La Crosse. The warm spot is down at Radio Park in Racine, where it's 16 degrees. There's some milder temperatures along the Great Lakes.
16.
And this is just a preview of coming attractions because, for example, here in the Chippewa Valley, tonight we're going to get down to at least 11 below. And then Saturday night, 14 below 0 for a low heading into Sunday. We did not make plans for this weekend, and we are amazingly thankful because it's really looking like if you don't have to leave the house, don't leave the house.
Yeah. Well, Pat, there are folks in River Falls who are playing a football game on Saturday.
Oops.
So they're going to be really cold, is what you're telling me.
They are going to be really, really cold. This is ice bowl territory that we're in right here. So, yeah, who's River Falls playing?
I am double checking right now because, to be perfectly honest with you, it's all mush at this point.
Once Whitewater is out, he just stops paying attention. Is really what he's trying to tell you.
No, that's not it. It's just there's too many things to keep track of. They're playing against Wheaton. Wheaton is down in Illinois.
Wheaton. Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right.
Nice reference.
Thank you very much. Oh, wait. There is another big game, as Alicia reminds us.
It's a bigger game, yeah.
The Army-Navy game is this weekend. She says, happy Friday. It is cold. Yes, it is. But she will obviously be there wearing something that probably says, go Navy, beat Army, or something like that. So
that's a good guess.
It should be a good contest. Tony's up on YouTube in the comment section saying, I think Mandela is the betting favorite. I think getting the Green Bay mayor and the Superior mayor among other endorsements is impressive, but I still wouldn't count out Francesca Hong, state representative from Madison. Absolutely fair take. We'd love to hear from people who are fans of Senator Calderoy's, Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley. Of course, there's Missy Hughes, who used to head the State Economic Development Corporation. So plenty of folks who can weigh in on, what you think is going to be the strongest campaign for governor in 2026. Also coming up today, our Weekend Review panel with some alterations because Mark Jacob and Jennifer Schulze have gotten an early start to the weekend. So along with former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel, our panel this week is made up of Joan Esposito from WCPT Radio in Chicago, and Dr. Kristen Lyerly will be sitting in, and we'll have more than a couple of headlines to talk about from the week. We will be talking about, for example, Republicans in the legislature backing off their desire to force grieving women to scoop up the remains of a miscarriage and put it in a medical waste bag. And I know that doesn't sound it sounds very graphic, but that is exactly what some Republicans in the Wisconsin legislature wanted to require of grieving women who'd suffered a miscarriage. And it turns out that as people found out about that, they backed off. So we'll talk to Dr. Lyerly about that. With Jim Santel, we'll talk about how President Trump has lost 2 more court cases that really didn't involve criminal prosecution so much as persecution without due process. And Is the White House ever going to live up to its promise to tackle inflation, or are they going to stick with the laughable argument that affordability worries are just a hocus? That's all part of our panel discussion and more in our 7 o'clock hour. And I'm sure we will get to as well in both in the Week in Review panel segment and coming up shortly here with Courier Newsroom's Keya Vakil. What happened in the Senate yesterday, the promised vote on extending the enhanced premium tax credits that make health insurance more affordable under the Affordable Care Act. There was a vote on it yesterday in the Senate, as promised as part of a deal to end the government shutdown. And it got 51 votes, and you're saying, okay, it passed. We're going to save some money now. No, we're not, because in the Senate, you need 60 votes to blow your nose, and 51 votes, a majority, just ain't going to cut it. You know, some of us are old enough to remember when the United States Senate had a vaunted reputation as the world's greatest deliberative body. Weighty issues would be debated by senators with the security of 6-year terms, resistant to the political winds of the moment, and grand compromises could be achieved. Yeah, those days are gone. And it was really put on display tellingly yesterday when you had 51 senators, but that still wasn't enough. Four Republicans crossing over, but that still wasn't enough to stop the larger Republican plan to make Americans pay exhaustingly higher health insurance premiums just to make a political point. Just to make a point. So I think they can probably spare all of us the affordability argument and just go ahead and stick with the issue of we're here for the health insurance companies and not for the consumer. Tony says, you got Dr. Lyerly of WCPT Chicago? What a get. Yes, I guess I should point out not only Joan Esposito from WCPT, but the Dr. Kristen Lyerly show is heard across the Civic Media Radio Network on Saturdays, but he also now airs on that Chicago radio station. So good on her. Yeah, there we go. She deserves a Casio keyboard. Round of applause that way. The Milwaukee Bucks defeated the Boston Celtics 116-101. Giannis is still out though for some time, right?
I've got to be honest with you. I don't really keep up with the Bucks. I do know it was 2 to 4 weeks that he was looking at, so he should be out still.
Right. They will next play Sunday evening in Brooklyn against the Nets. I think most folks are focused rightly on football because you've got the Packers at Denver playing the Broncos at 3:25 on Sunday. So you will be able to you will be able to listen to the pregame starting at 1 o'clock on several stations across the Civic Media Radio Network. And then again, remember, they play after this coming Sunday, they next play on Saturday night. So a week from tomorrow, they will have a Saturday night game in Chicago. And then the game after that will be a Saturday night game against the Baltimore Ravens, which everybody will be glued to because they'll be watching on Peacock? Or will they? You know, you can catch the game right here on Civic Media. When your app fails you and you get too frustrated to keep trying, you know, Wayne and Larry have all the coverage you need on the radio. Give it a listen that way instead. And also, the Wisconsin Badgers women's volleyball team advances hopefully this afternoon throughout the NCAA National Tournament. They are a 3 seed. They are now in Austin, Texas for the regional semifinal, and they play this afternoon at 1:30 against 2 seed Stanford. So, you know, the Badgers have consistently, you know, they haven't been atop the national polls, but they've been, you know, right up there, and it's in the national tournament where you got to shine. And hopefully the Badger women on the volleyball team will get a chance to do that. And then normally I'm sorry.
I think that you need to point out, too, that this Badger volleyball team is incredibly different compared to the one last year. So to get to this point is kind of remarkable for how young they are and how different they are.
It really is. I mean, they're still a quality team, obviously, and therefore something you don't take for granted. Somebody, you know, a group of women that you really can cheer for because, I mean, I'm not going to say they're total underdogs, but they definitely, you know, have some room for performance and growth, and maybe they can show that off coming up this weekend. All right, coming up next, we will talk to Courier Newsroom's Keya Vakil, and then so much more ahead yet between now and 9 o'clock when we have the final edition of Matt and Air on Air before Jane Matt and Air's retirement. Big day today. From the heart of America's up north, live from Lake Wissota, thanks for making this the place to spend part of your mornings. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Hearing loss is frustrating. If you're not sure what others are saying in conversations because of loud background noise, why not call Madison Hearing Aid Center? 608-249-4077 is their number. They offer fast and flexible appointments. Talk to Jim or Sarah. They're helping people change their lives with better hearing. Get a free hearing test online at MadisonHearingAidCenter.com. That's MadisonHearingAidCenter.com, 4706 Cottage Grove Road in Madison. Tell them John and Gordy sent you.
There was a time when barbecue was perfect. A strong, reliable flavor that could be counted on. But then big manufacturers decided that barbecue needed to be zesty or spicy or sweeter or whatever. If you miss the good old days of great tasting barbecue, we'd like to introduce you to Grandpa's Barbecue. Made in small batches from Grandpa's original recipe. Buy yours online today at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
The holidays are here, and it's time to pick a present from Civic Media's grown-up gift list with this local station. Listen while you work for the keywords to text for your chance to win $200 cash and be entered to win one of our grand prizes, a snowblower, stainless steel cookware set, or a portable air conditioner. Just download the free Civic Media app and listen weekdays at 7, 9, 11, 1, 3, 5, and 7 for your chance to win in our multi-state contest.
Listen to the Civic Media exclusive podcast, Busted Pencils.
Holy crap, 1/3 of kids can't read. That is a very troubling statistic. Is it a true fact? Is it a statistic that you can walk around with and actually talk about? No, there's a complexity, but at the same time, with a little bit of help from Tim, Johnny, and Jacob, I think we can get a better sense of
30 seconds left in a break.
Hey, you get back to the table and you finish those Fruity Pebbles. You heard me. Nice to have you back on a Friday morning. It is 6:22, which means we check in with Courier Newsroom's Keya Vakil, our national political editor out in Los Angeles. Keya, hello. How are you?
I am all right, Pat. How about yourself?
Doing well, thanks. We are talking just as the U.S. Senate has held dueling votes on health care, though the one we knew was coming, about extending the Affordable Care Act tax subsidies. And then we weren't sure if there was going to be a Republican alternative or not, but in the end, there was that plan put up for a vote. And the verdict is nobody wins. Nobody wins. Well, maybe the health insurance companies, but other than that, nobody wins.
No, not even them. They're the ones who get the subsidies directly paid to them. So they don't win either. Everyone loses.
Wow. Good job, guys. Now, I will say, and this is more of an indictment of the filibuster than anything else, but both of the votes were 51-48, if I'm not mistaken. So technically, the people can say that a majority of the Senate, because it included, 4 Republicans, right? A majority of the Senate voted to extend the Affordable Care Act tax subsidies, the enhanced credits, but 51 votes is not enough in today's United States Senate.
Yeah, I mean, this joins the mountain of evidence that we need to get rid of the filibuster. It's just wild that a majority doesn't mean anything in the Senate. And yeah, it's unfortunate because, the bill failed. The House bills are almost certainly going to fail. We have, within 3 weeks, people are going to see their premiums double, triple, quadruple, or lose their, a lot of people are just going to forego insurance because who can afford it when you're paying $700, $800, $1,200 a month. It's obscene.
The Republicans put up exactly what we thought. It was basically health savings accounts. And I mean, we've talked 8 ways to Sunday about how that's just not enough. But so from a policy standpoint, it's just not enough. From a political standpoint, Keya, they still, after 15 years, have nothing. Nothing.
They have not. I mean, that's because they are a party that their only ideas are to take rights and benefits away from people. And that's pretty much it. And then obviously now with Trump, some other, nasty things with ICE. But on healthcare, they have zero ideas. A health savings account that is cooked up by some doofus at a think tank does nothing to actually help people. Healthcare costs are crazy. $1,000 a year in an HSA, that covers almost nothing. Like it's if you're super healthy, yeah, maybe you'll get $100 left over. But if you are a normal person, I'm 34. I just had a doctor's appointment. I have aches and pains. I have all sorts of things, and I know that's not going to go away. That would last me maybe 2 months,
Sure.
And then the rest of the year I'd be completely on my own.
Right. Or a birth that costs in the neighborhood of $18,000. They're going to give you $1,000. All right. Well, good luck with that. So, yeah, it was a joke. So as noted, 4 Republicans did cross over to vote with Democrats for an extension. No Democrats crossed over to vote on the Republican plan. One Republican, Rand Paul, actually left it as well. Meanwhile, on the House side of the Capitol, we have discussed how there are understandably nervous Republicans saying, well, we need to put up something. And I just got done listening to one Republican saying, acknowledging that the subsidy extensions are supported by a majority of Americans. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene is signing a discharge petition that would call for a vote on this. Although I think that's more out of spite for Speaker Johnson, but she does, again, recognize the popular support for people being able to afford health insurance.
Yeah, I mean, there are still some politically astute people in the Republican Party who recognize that if you take healthcare away from millions of people and make 15 to 20 million more pay an arm and a leg for increasingly worse coverage, you're going to get clobbered at the ballot box next year. And yes, they are gerrymandering. They might reduce, but there are still swing districts. And we're seeing in special elections, Democrats flipping Trump-held seats and winning them by 10, 15 points. So you can only gerrymander so much. And, if you just completely step on rakes on healthcare and make a point of making clear to voters that you don't care if they don't have healthcare, they're going to punish you. And Marjorie Taylor Greene sees that. A few other Republicans in the House see that. But by and large, it's a caucus of Tea Party meets MAGA meets Freedom Caucus extremists who just don't care and don't believe government has any responsibility to help people, stay healthy and stay safe in their communities. And so what you have is they want it to be the Wild West where insurance companies can do whatever they want and people die younger, people are sicker, and everyone's more miserable.
Keya Vakil is here with us from Courier Newsroom. And this is the time of year that people are traveling. So I feel like we should let people know that the travel rules might be changing in one country to something I can't imagine anybody would support, where visitors will have to provide their social media for the last 5 years. That's to get into a country which is already going to be hurting tourism. Keya, what third world nation, what despot would have those kinds of rules for immigration being proposed?
Oh, Donald Trump.
Wait, that's here?
The
United States of America is going to say, if you want to come in, you got to turn over your social media for the last 5 years. Papers, please, to be reviewed.
Yeah, I'm going to read off the list of things just because it's particularly obscene. So if you want to come, let's say for the World Cup or the Olympics, you have to provide your telephone numbers in the last 5 years, your email addresses in the last 10 years, your IP addresses and metadata from electronically submitted photos. Who the hell knows how to do that? Your family members' names, their telephone numbers, their dates of birth, their places of birth, where they live, your biometrics. This should set off alarm bells. Your pictures of your face, your fingerprint, your DNA, your iris in your eye, your business phone numbers in the last 5 years, and your business emails in the last 10 years. in no way, shape, or form would I ever provide any of that if I were going. I would not go to that country. That is so crazy. And it's good. I mean, if anyone comes for the World Cup, I will be shocked.
Congratulations, Republican Party. You have become the big government you warned us about for all those years. Unbelievable. Keya, Vakil, I think we got a special show next week, so I'm going to wish you happy holidays now, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Pat. Have a good one.
I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Okay, I normally don't comment on stories, but I'm going to comment on that one.
And now, Parker Olson with a viewpoint.
What in the hell? You got the World Cup. That is genuinely the world's biggest attraction,
and the
sporting
Olympics.
event of, and the Olympics, and you're going to make it damn near impossible for people to come internationally for events that are, international events. What? That is bafflingly,
Alicia puts it very well.
Stupid.
These are the kinds of things that conspiracy theorists raved would happen under the Democratic Party. Yes. And Alicia does not think that Tony's kids are eating Fruity Pebbles because they're soggy. That's why you got to eat them fast. You got to eat them really fast. Or your Cocoa Pebbles, either way. If you have them fast, they're great. By fast meaning like inhale them. Within 60 seconds, if you haven't finished the bowl, you're done. So at that point, somebody, the kids put it in the sink, and then your sink drain is full of these soggy Fruity Pebbles. Yep. Yummy, huh?
Got that smelly smell.
Yep.
Strategy and build a more resilient operation.
Oh, sorry,
overall.
I stand corrected. They
As you
had mini pancakes today. Nice.
Ooh.
With little chocolate chips, baked right into them. I'm sure, right?
They better.
I mean, if Tony has a soul, he put little mini chocolate chips in there. I mean, come on, Tony.
I put chocolate chips in my pancakes.
I do too. Yeah. Well, Sherry loves blueberry pancakes, so I make blueberry pancakes all the time, and I put chocolate chips in mine instead. So. More blueberries for her.
Tony, we're going to need an update. What was in those pancakes?
Oh, not today on the chips.
You must be using them all in the Christmas cookies.
That's it. They're all in the Christmas goods.
Yeah. Any other reason? Come on.
News. Wisconsin U.S. legislators, including Senator Tammy Baldwin and Representative Derek Van Orden, introduced a piece of bipartisan legislation. That legislation would give organic producers the tools to increase capacity, modernize operations, and expand their business to meet growing demand. The bill is called the Domestic Organic Investment Act and would make a permanent USDA program aimed to solve supply chain gaps. It would do so by providing grants to farmers and businesses. More news comes to us from the Wisconsin Farm Bureau President, Brad Olson. He's sounding the alarm due to regulations that stand to hurt the state's agriculture industry. Olson walks us through some of the extreme.
This is why having a radio show is fun. You guys are killing me with these kids. Now they're demanding chocolate. Yes, absolutely. Chocolate cake for breakfast. Chocolate cake for breakfast. Don't let your dad tell you otherwise. Chocolate cake for breakfast is like a health food. It really helps you think better in school. And it's totally healthy. It's good. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It's good for you. Yep.
Just now and then.
Yep.
Never hurts. Come on, Tony. Get with the times.
Passive-aggressive parenting tips brought to you by Civic Media.
Our high today, 25. Tonight, mostly cloudy. We're going to drop to around 1 below zero. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a high of only 5 above.
Don't do that to the kids.
Oh, jeez.
Outside now, it's
Did we break him? I think we broke him.
fresh perspective on the great outdoors.
What did you do this week that was fun? My weekly Wisco was actually going to be the snowfall. Now that's enough for the year. That's my opinion of it.
Now you're over it.
I'm over the snowfall. It is nice for hunting because you can see the animals a little more clearly, but I will take the end of the snowfall.
Raised in Wisco with Joe Clayfish and Danielle Fairman. Find the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide.
Pat, don't forget 30 seconds.
Hey, don't tell me. Tell Greg Bach. I mean,
what's up?
What's up? What's up?
Waza. I regret that.
It's time once again for today's history lesson on Mornings with Pat Kreitlow.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
It's one small step for man.
Well, I'm not a crook.
Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
You know, this depression is going to be so great. We'll be the ones eating the cats and the dogs. That's going to be fun.
Once again, it is time to take another revealing peek back into history.
Now, this man here is going to take me by the hand.
Guess who?
And he's going to lead me down the right path.
Birthday boy.
To righteousness. Oh. And all that other mother jazz.
110 years ago for
In
Frank
the right
Sinatra.
Tempo. Fly me to the moon. Let me swing among those stars.
If you have been listening to this show with any frequency whatsoever and you still do not have Sinatra Live at the Sands with Count Basie, come on, get with the program here.
I know it's one of your favorite albums.
Francis Albert Sinatra, born this day in 1915, passed away in 1998. Greg Bach is here for today's Friday history lesson as well. Mr. Bach, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing well.
All right.
Well, to say good would be grammarly inaccurate.
And grammarly inaccurate is
grammarly.
Oh, thanks. Good job, Captain Good English.
Thank you, sir.
Very goodly. All right. Anyway, let's continue with the history. Then we'll get into what, Greg's got a big day ahead here, so it's a lot of fun.
It's true.
A little bittersweet, but going to be a lot of fun. Also born on this day, Bob Barker, the late great host of The Price is Right, was born in 1923 on this day. Also born on this day, back in 1943, is Grover Washington Jr. And a lot of people thought that it's him that you're going to hear in this little song snippet, but it's not. Play his big hit. That was actually Bill Withers doing the singing. This is Grover Washington Jr. playing the sax.
It's a Grover Washington track.
Yes. A Grover Washington jam, if you will. 1943 was born. Passed away in 1999. Former Milwaukee Brewer Gorman Thomas. Norman Gorman, 75 years old today. Also,
have you ever met another Gorman?
Have I ever met another Gorman?
I mean, I don't know if you've ever met Gorman Thomas, but I can't for the life of me think of another Gorman.
Another Gorman. That's a great question. This is one of those where you go to your Google machine and you put Gorman and you see what else comes up.
I think you're going to get a lot of Star Wars stuff.
Why?
There's a new planet from one of the shows called Gorman, I think.
A planet? Okay.
Yes.
No, I got Gorman Rupp, a pump and electrical company based out of Mansfield, Ohio. So, Greg, I think you're right.
Oh my gosh.
Nobody's met another Gorman.
They're all last name Gormans. They're all like Burn Gorman. Well, that's a weird name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, happy birthday to Stormin Gorman. One of his kind. One of a kind, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Happy birthday as well to singer Dionne Warwick. She is 85 years old today.
Do you know the way to San Jose? I've been away so long, I may go
So she had plenty of hits in the late 60s, early 70s, but I think a lot of Generation X knows her best from hosting, what was it, Solid Gold? It was one of those weekend TV shows where they had dancers that danced along to the top hits. It wasn't quite American Bandstand. But
Solid Gold was like the 70s version of it. Like, it was... I had to watch it as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
I was forced to watch it.
It was that or Lawrence Welk. I mean, come on.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Pat. All right, Pat.
All right. Actress Mayim Bialik is 50 years old today. Weird to think of characters from The Big Bang Theory in their 50s now, but she is. Also, a birthday today for singer Sheila E. We'll basically look for any reason to play something Prince adjacent, and Sheila E.'s The Glamorous Life fits that to a T. She is 68 today. Actress Regina Hall is 55 years old today. On this day 55 years ago, 1970, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles started a 2-week run at number 1. This, of course, would be Tears of a Clown. On this day in 1924, George Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue received its premiere in a concert that was titled An Experiment in Modern Music. Gershwin played the piano as part of it, and it had little staying power after all these many years later, 101 years later. And let's see, I think I've got one more number 1 hit. This one's from 1987, and it's George Michael.
Well, I guess it would be nice if I could touch your body.
So this became the number 1 song December 12th of 1987. So it would go on to become the best-selling single of 1988, because this thing, too, had some legs to it.
I think my sister had 2 copies of this record. Not the CD or the tape, the record.
The record, yes. On this day in
Wham.
1992, Whitney Houston began a 20-week run atop the U.S. album chart with the soundtrack to The Bodyguard. Thanks, of course, to I Will Always Love You and other songs from the movie. On this day 5 years ago, Bad Bunny's El Ultimo Tour del Mundo hits number 1 on the album chart, becoming the first album entirely in Spanish to top the U.S. album charts. And still there are people who go, I don't know if he should be at the Super Bowl or not. Sit down.
Yeah.
Hey. Here's a birthday for tomorrow, but we won't be on tomorrow. And, I mean, at his age, there's no guarantees. So today, let's celebrate tomorrow's 100th birthday for Dick Van Dyke.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiree. A sweep is as lucky can be. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo. Good luck, we're above when I
It's a fair
touch hands
sentiment,
with
though,
you.
because Betty White was on her way to 100, and when we're like, wait, what?
Yeah, what? No, you can't do that yet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it happens. I believe it happened with Bob Barker as well. But the thing is, with like Betty White and Dick Van Dyke, you have to admire that when they were still like 99 and a half, whatever, still had a great attitude. They were still doing the occasional interview. I've seen a couple of clips with Dick Van Dyke, and like a lot of folks who had fame and fortune for a time, he'd probably be the first to tell you he's surprised to have lived this long, because he spent a big chunk of the middle of his career in a bottle.
Yeah.
He has said he does not remember much of this movie, Mary Poppins, from 1964, I believe, because
That's unfortunate.
His drinking was so heavy at that point. But again, got off it, got cleaned up, and was just a funny, terrific actor in all kinds of roles ever since. So,
and really one of the greatest portrayals of an English person by an American actor ever. I mean, the accent is just. I think he studied on the west side of London for like a year.
Oh wow,
that would make sense.
That was a joke, Parker.
I don't know enough about
I don't
Dick
know.
Van Dyke.
He fished us
I
right
haven't
in there.
Wow,
Fished us right in.
I
See, I was immediately thinking about how Kate Hudson studied for her accent for this new movie, Song Sung Blue, at the Mars Cheese Castle. She would spend time there, just listening to people. So, hey, whatever gets it done. All right, we can bring Dick Van Dyke out, and we you know what? Before we get to the National Day calendar, let's not bury the lead here. The beloved Jane Matenaer is wrapping things up today. Greg, I mean, how cool has it been to be working with her these past couple of years? Because I listened to her, about 30 years ago, living in Milwaukee. and hearing her. And to get a chance to work with her has just been amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's an individual that I grew up listening. Sorry, I'm looking at myself right now on the live stream. Just can't help. I'm so pretty. No, it's someone that I listen to a lot. My mom would always have those stations on in the house, and I would listen to Jane. And it's for me, working with her is a masterclass in radio broadcasting. You know, if you know anything about my story, I did not grow up in this industry, so I've been very lucky to get where I've been, and the fact that I've been able to spend my time for the past year, since I've been here with her, learning, and her giving me the ability to host the show when she's on vacation, and just take on responsibilities, but also be on the air with her and learn how to be a proper personality on the air has been priceless, and I appreciate so much. And I'm going to miss her a great deal. She'll still be in our lives. She'll tell you herself. She's going to be texting all of you.
Oh yeah.
But also we're gonna miss her, and I'm just hoping that whatever we do next with the show will be in honor of what she already set up with the mission of Matt and Air on Air about conversations, learning, talking, having a good time while doing it, and just, as she would say every day, finding a little joy and sharing it when you can.
Yes, exactly. And, she actually put off her retirement a little bit here because, after years and years and years and years of being a morning show, partner, she finally had the opportunity to headline a show and, said, well, why not give that a shot? And the management under this little Civic Media umbrella, they were brilliant enough to put you in as co-host with her. And it has worked so amazingly well. And
thank you.
I think it was just a great opportunity for all of us and the listeners included. And again, this is all just to say that the final edition of Matt and Air on Air will be today from 9 a.m. until 11 a.m. And I have no idea, and I'm sure Jane has no idea what you have sketched out for the show today.
Oh, it's going to be fun. We're going to have great guests. We're going to have some surprises. None of them are, this is your life.
No, but there was a great surprise, a song or something that she'd worked on, and she had absolutely no memory of working on it. Not in the Dick Van Dyke way, but in the way of, oh my God, I've done so much stuff over the past 40 years that, I love when that comes up and you go, no, literally, I do not remember doing that because I've seen that. I've seen that with me. I'll look at something in a box in the basement and I'll go, I have nothing.
It's a box of stuff. Where did that box of stuff come from?
It all looks like my handwriting, but what was I thinking at that point? So that'll be nice. All right, we can get back on track here as Parker tells us what's on the National Day calendar for today.
Today is National Universal Health Coverage. Excuse me.
Today is National Universal Health Coverage Day?
Yes.
Oh, boy. Talk about
rough day.
Wow. Send a note to your favorite Republican senator right now and wish them a happy Universal Health Coverage Day. You know why? Because they've got it.
Yep.
They've got great health coverage.
They've got amazing health coverage.
And so do your legislators who have been, preventing a Medicaid expansion or expanding Medicaid to postpartum care for new moms. But they have great coverage.
Pat, and isn't the Madison legislature next year going on like a 9 or 10 month vacation?
They probably will do at least a 9-month vacation next year, fully paid, and health insurance. Not a worry.
Yeah.
All good.
What a great job.
I know. No wonder so many people should go seek it next year.
Yeah.
And let's see, we got one more on the calendar.
It is Gingerbread House and Gingerbread Decorating Day.
Greg, you ever do gingerbread houses?
I did them a couple times as kids in school, and they were exactly what you think they became towards the end, which was a weird mixture of gingerbread frosting, glue, and all of my tears.
Yes. And I do like the people who were smart enough to post on social media. If that ever happens, put a toy dinosaur right next to it. And that way you have an excuse. Greg Bach, you can catch him on Matt and Air on Air coming up 9 to 11 today. One more time before Jane steps away. And coming up here on the program, we've got Mandela Barnes, candidate for governor, coming up in just over an hour. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Wow, that was tough.
No.
Oh my gosh! Even hours before Mandela Barnes comes on, and the trolls are out, and they are busy.
Oh boy! Yeah, you get troll. We don't. Yeah, I block the trolls now because it's the same person using different accounts.
Yes,
and they give themselves away by saying the same language. Like, yeah,
libtard.
Yeah,
it's always a favorite.
You can't do better than that. Oh my god! Well, no, you know what? Don't do better than that. Don't try. All right, it's just. Imagine, Pat. Imagine getting up this early in the morning just to be a tool. I mean, that's what I don't wake up this early to do things I like. I'm getting paid to do this.
Right. Oh, God. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, we got that. Okay. Yeah, we're good. All right. What do we got for entertainment stuff? Okay. All of that. What are you up to this weekend, Mr. Bach?
Not a lot.
Yeah.
Really not a lot.
Hunkering down.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a relaxing weekend. Relaxing as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. I would like to say the same, but there's always stuff, you know. Again, the thing you can't see are the little the piles of paper on the floor behind me going, I should really put these into places and not make a tripping hazard out of them. There are presents to wrap yet, so it's all good. Uh-oh, Parker's been reminded he needs to start Christmas shopping.
Oh, yeah, I gotta start Christmas shopping. I just gave my family my list yesterday, so.
Oh, okay. I got a nice surprise. I got a book in the mail yesterday.
Nice.
And, you know, because of Laura Bird, I use what's it called, bookshop.org instead of Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
The small bookstore alternative to Amazon.
Yes,
and I made a wish list at bookstore.org, and I sent it to my girls. And I got this book. I hadn't opened it yet, and Sherry says, "Why aren't you going to open it?" I thought, well, maybe I'll wait and then just call the girls on Christmas, Christmas Day or something. And she's like, "Nah, you should open it anyway." So I did. And there's a note from my buddy Kevin. "Merry Christmas" from Kevin. So it's like somebody else had heard us talking about it on the show and thought to go to the bookstore site.
That's awesome.
I know. What a good sign.
I've used that site for Christmas. Unfortunately, I put my list on there a little too late, so I don't know. So I said, I would rather you shop local, but I know if you want to get it in Christmas time, I have 2-3 books on there that I really excite. I'm really getting into coffee table books that are histories and picture books. That makes me sound like a child, but
no. I've got those with famous front pages.
30 seconds left in a break.
Let her out. Go back to your room. It's I've got several historical ones like that, and I really like them. Nice. All right, here we go. Welcome back. It's a Friday morning. It's December 12th. Parker Olson producing things in Madison. Greg Bach on the drums down at Radio Park in Racine. And on the in the comment section of YouTube from Tony, what a nice way of telling the listeners to buy you things. Well, we were talking in the commercial break about we have Laura Bird on as a guest frequently, author, and gives book recommendations. And she's the one who turned us on to something called, is it bookshop.org? I want to say that. It's it's the small bookstore alternative to Amazon, and you actually pick a small bookstore in your area, and when you order off of bookshop.org, a percentage of that goes to the small bookstore, as if you'd bought it directly from them.
That's awesome.
And I got a book in the mail yesterday, which I assumed was from my daughters because they're the only ones who knew that I have a wish list at bookshop.org. But no, it turned out it was somebody else who listens to the show and knew to go look over there. So, Tony, I don't want to say that this was a nice way of telling the listeners to buy me things, but the fact that I've now mentioned it and brought your quote up on the screen twice tells me that maybe you're on to me. Could be the case.
And if you're listening to if you're watching the live stream, you've heard that story twice now, so you doubly know to buy him stuff. All right,
you totally know if he's going to tell the radio listeners about it as well. I guess we should resume our regularly scheduled programming with some entertainment news from Parker Olson.
Yes, Pat. I know you're not a big Hunger Games guy, but we have a Hunger Games story.
Okay,
Because,
a Hunger Games story. Okay,
yes,
ready?
because there is another Hunger Games movie coming out. It is a prequel called Sunrise on the Reaping, and reportedly Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson, the main two from the original trilogy, or quadrilogy? I don't know.
Quadrology.
Series?
Quadrology, thank you. Fans are very excited because, quote, it's basically Jesus returning to Earth. That's how excited they are to have Jennifer Lawrence back in the Hunger Games.
How is she going to be in this movie? It's like she's going to be wouldn't she be a child?
Well,
It's
yes.
a flash forward scene, I guess.
Oh, a flash forward scene.
Yeah.
Fan service is just not worth it in some of these movies. It's like,
yeah.
I'm talking to you, Marvel. I'm talking to you, DC. I'm talking to all these big, properties and IPs. It's like they might be in the movie. Great. I'm still not giving you $15.
Another one wrote that for non-Hunger Games fans, this would be like Rihanna returning to music. Okay, I get that.
All
There's
right.
yeah.
Tamp it down, bro.
But it does lead to the story about Disney licensing its characters to an AI company. And once this thing gets up and running, you will be able to create AI features with Disney characters in them. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, the internet usually wins this one every time.
Yes, the statement, and Sherry heard me laugh out loud. The statement from the company says something like, we are promoting the responsible use of AI. And I'm like, responsible use of AI? That's one of those contradiction in terms, military intelligence or jumbo shrimp. Responsible use of AI. Sure. Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
What else we got for entertainment spots?
Well, Pat, we have one more birthday to report.
Okay.
Yeah, it's mine. My birthday's today, everybody. Yeah.
What?
And I have a wonderful song to commemorate the moment. Hit it, Parker.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No. This is a tragedy.
This is amazing.
This is
all right.
Greg Bach's birthday revenge.
So here's the thing.
Okay.
If you listen to this show with frequency, you know that every year Pat forgets that it's my birthday today.
Yes, I do. Yep, I do.
And the first year, it was fun. The second year, I'm like, oh, my God. And I'm literally driving to the radio station today, Pat, and I love you so, so, so much. You know how much I love you. I was like, please let him forget for a third time.
I did. I did.
Yeah.
This is not a proud moment for me.
When you play Frank Sinatra, I thought you were going to wish me, oh, no, hey, this is fun. This is fun. This is my doing.
Fun for you.
No, it's great for all of us.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Greg.
Thank you very much. I don't care. That doesn't bother me at all. Seriously. Pat, if you would have said, happy birthday, Greg, I'm like, oh, man.
Well, it turns out that I did remember your birthday, and there's a gift. It just hasn't arrived yet from bookshop.org. I cannot believe.
Okay.
Cannot believe that hasn't arrived yet. I'll be back on that site real soon.
Folks, this entire segment was brought to you by bookshop.org. Bookshop.org. Buy your books locally.
Don't give your money to a billionaire.
Splendidly.
Yes. Like Tony remembered. He's got happy birthday, Greg, up there in the comment section. So,
oh, man, that's amazing.
Tony, so we had a whole segment about Pat getting gifts on Greg's birthday. Well,
yeah.
Yes.
Pat, I thank you for being the unknowing.
Unknowing is right.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was the perfect start to my day, and I was actually trying to keep it totally quiet because when they announced that Jane's last day would be today, I'm like, I'm not going to say it's my birthday. I'm just going to let her have the day. I'll celebrate later with family. I'm not going to. And then one day on the radio, she goes, it's my last day. And Greg's birthday. I'm like, oh.
You know what this is really a failure of on so many levels, of course. But you know how much pride I take in this day in history notes.
Yeah.
And I have other people's birthdays in them too. I had Dr. Lyerly's birthday in here from, a few days back.
Yeah.
And I was positive I had yours in there. Now I'm thinking it's probably in I put it under the wrong day or something, and that you're going to get like a message out of the blue going, see, I knew it was actually January 12th or something.
And happy birthday to Greg Bach, personality on Civic Media. It's February the 14th. Happy birthday.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just going to make up a birthday in the
There you
future
go.
for this.
I love it. I love it.
I am so chagrined.
Couldn't have thought of a better way to spend time with friends on my birthday than this. This is great.
Yes. You can bring Paul McCartney back up. I clearly deserve every little bit of what's left of this horrible
Christmas
song.
Yeah. The greatest Christmas song ever.
Have a great birthday, Greg.
Thanks, buddy.
Have a great final episode of Matt and Air on Air coming up at 9 o'clock. And give her love from all of us here, too, as well.
Will do.
All right. Thanks, everybody. All right. Let's get a little news coming up. Our Week in Review panel is on the way as well. And a keyword in our grown-up gift list text-to-win contest. Stick around.
Oh, that's unlucky.
Oh, my God. That's just so brutal.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
What?
Awesome.
Greg
What a
messaged me
fail.
during the break there. He's like, hey, I need you to say this line for me. I'm like, okay. And find wonderful Christmas time for me.
And then when you said the line, I was like, go ahead, say the rest. And I realized, oh, no, that's my line.
I was wondering what the pause was for.
Look at Alicia. Wait, how did I know it was Greg's birthday and Pat didn't remember? Sure, Alicia. Yeah, sure.
Hey,
right.
Hey, don't. No, this is not. This was a me project with Pat as my unwitting participant,
Yes.
and I loved every moment of it.
Oh.
I don't not care about my birthday.
No.
But I don't make it so big that if someone doesn't know it or forgets it, I'm not going to be like, it's. Yeah.
From Ron in Horicon on the text line, we will miss Jane so much, but we do have Greg, and I, for one, look forward to his many voices, especially his Aussie or New Zealand accent. Happy birthday, Greg.
Yeah. We've done a lot of this shouldn't be a things lately that have been from Australia, and every time we do, I'm like, oh, we're going to do one of those, are we? Hey? What's going on down under? What's going on down under? That's crazy.
It's become
What's
the new
crazy?
Florida man. Yeah.
All
righty.
The rest of this show is going to be in Australian.
Oh, God. All right.
All right, guys.
Now you go. I'll
Have
see
a
you
wonderful
later.
day. I will talk to you later. Have a great weekend. And look, there's Dr. Kristen. Oh, my gosh. Look at all the people.
I know. Joan Esposito's here. Jim
Oh, God,
Santel's
I gotta
here.
leave.
And birthday boy Greg Bach.
All the smart people are here. I got to go.
Happy birthday, Greg!
Thank you, doctor. Okay, I will see y'all later. Have a good day. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Bye.
Hey, Greg. Have a good show.
And thank you, and Jim, thank you for the cake and pretzel bites.
Absolutely, they're there for a reason. You know you couldn't get through the day without them.
I cannot get through the day without pretzel bites. All right, bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Greg.
Goodness. All right. Hello, Joan.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. We're hearing you
Happy
today.
birthday, Parker.
No, it's Greg, but we'll give it to Parker. You accepted on his behalf.
Yeah, I can take a birthday wish.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. And Kristen, do you want me to change your title to WCPT as well, or are you good? Did you hear that earlier?
No.
Oh yeah, I mentioned Dr. Lyre was going to be on. I said Joan Esposito from WCPT, and Tony jumped in with, "You got Dr. Lyerly of WCPT Chicago? What a get!"
Oh my gosh, you guys.
So, let's see. And Jim, thank you for all the ideas here. This is great.
Pat, again, small thing. My very favorite news item in the week that's chock full of them. And I'll even save it for the air if you wanted to go there, is this absolutely ridiculous explanation from your Department of Justice about why Lindsay Halligan is still the U.S. Attorney in Eastern Virginia showing up for work.
Unbelievable.
It's laughable if it wasn't so sad.
Kristen, we're going to do at some point the catch kits, how the bill has now been amended. Oh, yeah, I told you that because I'm giving you all the credit. So what were they going to be called? It was going to be called Brill Bags or what?
Jacques in the Box.
Jacques in a Box. That's right. For Andre Jacques.
My own state senator.
Yeah, we're so lucky. All right, 2.5 minutes till we come back. I'm going to go grab some coffee.
coach Doc Rivers.
What I liked about it, it's not like he forced anything. The ball moved to him, got it in the right spots, and he took the right shots. And then I thought it was one of his better defensive games. I thought he competed on the defensive end tonight.
The Bucks head to New York to play the Brooklyn Nets Sunday evening. NFL, the Packers practice indoors again, getting ready for Sunday's game at Empower Mile High Stadium. The kickoff at 3:25. The forecast for Denver on game day, mostly sunny and a high of 63. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Parallel parking in Madison? Impossible. Finding real conversation on the radio? Probable. With 92.7 WMDX.
Cloudy today with some snow by late this morning into this afternoon. It won't be much, a half inch or less of accumulation. Our high today, 25. Tonight, mostly cloudy. We're going to drop to around 1 below zero. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a high of only 5 above. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Outside now, it's 4 above.
Hey there, Wisconsin. Tom Hartman here. Democracy is not a spectator sport, so join me each and every weekday right here on Civic Media for the Tom Hartman program from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Covering the news of the day and sharing ways for you to get off the sidelines and get active in your community, because change starts with you. Get involved and tune in to the Tom Hartman program Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here on your local Civic Media radio station.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can.
Pat,
and you
don't
will.
forget 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Across Wisconsin on Civic Media, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. Now, from our Lake Wissota studio, here's the founding editor of Up North News, Pat Kreitlow.
Good morning. It is 7:06. Nice to have you back here up north on a Friday morning. It is December 12th, 2025. I'm Pat Kreitlow here in Chippewa Falls. Parker Olson producing things down in Madison in Studio A2. Coming up 1 hour from now, Mandela Barnes, former lieutenant governor and candidate for governor in 2026, will be joining us. One of 7 announced Democratic candidates so far. The most recent candidate, Joel Brennan, was on our show yesterday. You can always listen back to that by subscribing to the show as a podcast over at Spotify or Apple, or listen back at the Civic Media website. And again, Mandela Barnes coming up in just an hour. But before that, we have our week in review panel, a modified panel of sorts. I would dare say equal to the task without Mark Jacob or Jennifer Chantel. Wait till you hear who's joining us this week. But first, it's time for our grown-up gift list text to win contest. One final day. This multi-state game from Civic Media includes a daily prize of $200 and 3 grand prize winners who will choose from a brand new snowblower, portable air conditioner, stainless steel cookware. Get all the details over at the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us. You have until 8 o'clock this morning to text the keyword I'm about to give you using the Civic Media app. And then there will be more keywords, more chances for you to enter at 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 1, 3, 5, and 7 p.m. And then one of those entries will be plucked for that $200 daily prize, and everybody's in the running for the grand prizes. Here's the word polar, P-O-L-A-R, as in the big white bear. Polar, P-O-L-A-R. You have until 8 o'clock to send that our way and be eligible as part of the grown-up gift list text to win contest. All right. This week's panel is anchored, as always, by former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel, because there never seems to be any lack of lawlessness in the news to talk about these days. But we are also very happy to be joined by Dr. Kristen Lyerly and from WCPT Radio in Chicago, Joan Esposito. Panel, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, such an esteemed group that we have here today. This is just wonderful. Let's start, Jim, with you, because again, there's always there's always something, and that includes a couple of more setbacks for the Trump administration in court this week. One involving the attempts to persecute, I would say, not prosecute, an attorney, and another dealing with an immigrant who was mistakenly deported, and yet the Trump administration is still trying to make this guy's life a living hell. But setbacks in both cases this week, Jim.
Absolutely. So this is one of those instances where apparently 3 times is not a charm. A grand jury, again, just this past week or so, a couple of days ago, once again declined to indict Letitia James, the Attorney General of the state of New York, presumably on mortgage charges. And that's significant because, again, grand juries are the ones responsible for figuring out whether or not there's probable cause to believe that a proposed defendant has committed a crime. This is the second time in 2 weeks in which a grand jury in Eastern Virginia has attempted to charge, as the president describes her, his adversary, who is guilty as hell of what we don't know. And that's significant. At some point, it does become abusive to go back a third, fourth, and fifth time. There's something preventing them from doing that, but that's happening. The James Comey thing is also somewhat stymied just because of some evidentiary setbacks there. The president's folks at Department of Justice just can't seem to get that together. And then there's this big Kilmar Abrego Garcia news coming out of Maryland. That's where a judge named Paula Zinnes, we've talked about her a lot, who's been very frustrated with what she has described just a couple of days ago as the lies and the dissembling, the deception by Department of Justice lawyers. She has said enough is enough. And because the government, again, failed to get a removal order, that's what's needed before you can deport someone. Mr. Abrego Garcia this morning is released after 4 months in custody. He is still facing a criminal charge in Tennessee that's coming up for trial in January. But as of this morning, he is a free man. And yes, he's not in El Salvador. He is in the United States of America for the first time since his abrupt return 4 months ago.
Joan, this kind of overkill in the courts, raises this question, and I wonder if your callers share this sentiment that, Donald Trump might have gotten a pass for going after, say, one of his political adversaries, maybe a James Comey, and people would have said, well, it's his right to bring charges. But when he brings so many different cases about so many different people, and including the undocumented immigrants, where they get all the facts wrong, they don't have probable cause. I mean, Donald Trump probably could have gotten away with a little of this, but he has so severely overplayed his hand that it feels like it's really starting to backfire with the public. Or do you disagree?
Oh, no. I think, frankly, I think it started to backfire as soon as that message that was supposed to be a private message to Pam Bondi was released. Hey, Pam, you're not going after my enemies fast enough. We need to speed this up. We look bad. I mean, he went on the record right then and there as saying that that's what this was, revenge and retribution. And frankly, even if it had just been one prosecution of James Comey, I still think people would have smelled the rat in that and seen it for what it was.
Kristen, let's talk about another example of overreach that was in the news this week. And that dealt with something in the legislature where Republicans were proposing a bill that they ostensibly was all about water protection, groundwater protection. But in order to trace whether there's any abortion pills in the water supply, they were going to make grieving women do something that I considered just monstrous. And they've backed off it, I think, in large part to you and others who've called attention to it. Tell us what they were doing and what they have apparently removed now from the bill.
We know how much Republicans care about clean water so deeply that they've invested in things like PFAS cleanup and getting rid of lead pipes, right? Well, all of a sudden they've got this new proposed legislation that abortion medication is a huge problem in our groundwater. And in order to avoid contaminating the water, women who use abortion medication would have to catch the contents that come out of their bodies, what we call the products of conception, and put them in a kit that I called a Brill bag or a Jacques in the box to name after the authors of this legislation, to return it to the doctor's office. It is as ridiculous as it sounds. These catch kits, first of all, are shaming and humiliating and just completely inappropriate. But mostly, this is just obviously an anti-abortion bill. And I think they received so much public pressure. And this is one of the cool things about being on your show, Pat, and talking about these things. The public can make a difference here. And when we're having these conversations on social media and they sense, hey, maybe we're really off here, which clearly they were, they'll change things up. And that's exactly what happened here. One of the other authors, Nasty Nate Gustafson, removed those things, offered an amendment, and took those things out of the legislation. And that is no longer a piece of this gross anti-abortion bill.
And we've got one more piece of overreach. And Joan, it's next door to you in Indiana, where we have discovered that there is still some resemblance of a moral center within the Republican Party, maybe not in Washington, D.C., maybe not even in Madison, but at the state level, where Indiana Republicans in their state Senate voted overwhelmingly, as it turned out, more Republicans voted no than yes, on a scheme to rig the Indiana maps from 7-2 Republican to 9-0 Republican. Again, just such an overreach, so obvious. And yet, Joan, I got to admit, I'm still a little surprised when it seems like everybody rolls over for Donald Trump, that these Indiana Republicans stood up.
Oh my God, surprise doesn't begin to capture it. Yesterday, by the end of my show, when I found out what Indiana had done, it was like waking up tomorrow and finding out that the sky was going to be permanently pink from now on. It's just Indiana stood up to Trump. Of all the states that you might have guessed might push back a little bit, Indiana, Pat?
Well, but Indiana also gave us Mike Pence, again, a man with whom I share almost nothing in terms of political, agreements, but who stood up and did not go along with the attempted coup in 2020. So whatever they're putting in the cornflakes there in Indiana appears to carry some kind of weight. But we were all surprised. This whole gerrymandering thing is going to continue. And Jim, there's nothing in the court pipeline right now that would make them reconsider the notion that political gerrymanders are, equally bad. We already know racially gerrymandering is bad. That's illegal. They're trying to make the case that political gerrymandering, while ugly, is not illegal. And does that remain the case? Are we still game on despite this setback for Republicans in Indiana?
It is. The Supreme Court said a number of years ago that their federal courts will no longer be in the business of overseeing and limiting political partisan gerrymandering, a stunning decision. Supreme Court says we shouldn't be involved in these kinds of political issues. They're always involved in these kinds of issues. So political gerrymandering, again, that's how the Texas folks are, at least as to now, getting away with doing those 5 additional Republican majority districts. That certainly is still much in the news, especially since the companion piece, whether or not racial gerrymandering is permissible. That is also, as you just indicated, Pat, on the docket, the Supreme Court considering, as we have chatted about, considering whether or not the Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act is constitutional. If they say it is unconstitutional, then racial gerrymandering also becomes okay. I can draw lines based upon my partisan views. I can draw lines based upon what racial group, the color of the skin of the and heritage of the voters, which racial group I want to disenfranchise or enfranchise as I draw those lines. A stunning time in American history.
Stunning doesn't begin to capture the questions that they were weighing this week that we will still get into in terms of contribution limits to political candidates, the independence of federal agencies. It's just been a week that, again, I think pre-Trump, we never thought we'd be at a point like this, and yet we're having multiple cases like this talked about in the Supreme Court in just 1 week, in a very short span here. Before I forget, you can hear more from Jim Santel on Amicus, a law review. You can listen Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. across civic media stations around the state. And then Dr. Kristen Larley, not that far afterwards, Saturday at noon across the Civic Media Radio Network. Both shows replayed on Sundays. Kristen's is also on a little radio station in Chicago. Or did they keep you? Did you last more than 1 week there? I mean, because if you can make it there.
I can make it anywhere.
I guess yeah.
I get to hang out with Joan. I mean, how cool is that?
I know. And so, Joan, you can catch her live, local, and progressive show weekday afternoons from 2 until 5. You can find links to guests, to past episodes, and to podcasts over at heartlandsignal.com. And you got up so nice and early to be with us on our show before yours. I mean, this is quality pinch hitting right here, John. I appreciate that very much.
A team, buddy.
That's right. Well, Mark and Jennifer, they owe you. That's all I got to say about that. So we'll continue this discussion along the way. Plenty of things in the news for us to talk about. But first, a reminder that our keyword is Polar, Polar. In the grown-up gift list text to win contest, you've got until 8 o'clock to send that in. And then right after 8 o'clock, we will be visiting live with former Lieutenant Governor and candidate for Governor, Mandela Barnes. I'm Pat Kreitlow from Up North News, and this is the Civic Media Radio Network. Righty, this is a 2.5-minute break that we've got. And let's see what's on here. Oh, yeah. We've got Trump's gold card. We've got, Joan, did you see this headline from this is a New York Times headline yesterday. ICE tells a watchdog it has no videos to release of its Chicago operations.
Oh, no.
I mean, why, even though they...
other people have videos. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can make do with that. Yep.
Well, remember when Bavino was called before Sarah Ellis, he said that not only did he not have a body cam, but he didn't really know how they worked. Yeah. Somebody would have to teach him. If he would get a body cam, but he would have to have training.
It's always the thing of what do you think of Trump pardoning so and so? Oh, I don't know. I don't watch the news. I'm not up to speed on that. But they knew every little move that Joe Biden made. You know,
you betcha.
God.
And for what it's worth, Sarah Ellis, Joan just mentioned her. She wrote a 233-page order in which she recounts in detail all of the videos of what they've been doing. So all you need, maybe again, Dr. Lyerly, if you don't ask people on the street, just ask the judge. She's got all of it, so we're all taken care of. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Kristen, any other news items that you hadn't wanted to bring up this week?
The ACA votes yesterday.
Okay, let's go there next. I thought I got it all out of my system with Keya last hour, but no, let's take some more.
We can talk about whatever you think is.
No. I'm
game for
happy
anything.
to. I sometimes will move it to the outbox, and that one needs to come back into the inbox for this hour. So
I'm also envisioning this magical pink sky that Joan speaks of.
30 seconds. All right, here we go. Welcome back. It is a Friday morning, December 12th, and a reminder, as always, to follow what we do at Up North News by signing up for our newsletters, plural. We've got a weekday edition, and we've got a Sunday morning politics edition that I work on. You can sign up for all of these at upnorthnewswi.com. Click subscribe up in the top banner. Ellie has a story in today's edition about how to support conservation efforts across Wisconsin, which is important when you consider that Republicans in the legislature killed state funding for the Knowles-Nelson Stewardship Program. And of course, Friday means it's our Locals Love section. Locals Love, in this case, their local supper club. And people are on there bragging about their supper clubs, the best ones in their neck of the woods. And we will review some of the responses there coming up a little bit later on in the program. But we'll continue our week in review panel here now with former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel, Dr. Kristen Lyerly, and Chicago radio host Joan Esposito. And for folks that missed it in the last hour, in my conversation with Courier Newsroom's Keya Vakil, we talked about how the United States Senate, Kristen, was once known as the world's greatest deliberative body. And that, it wasn't so much about party labels. This was the place where compromises could be forged. And they are as useless now as a submarine with a screen door, as they were asked to extend the very popular Affordable Care Act premium subsidies. And even though it got 51 votes in the Senate means nothing, because they've twisted the rules in a way to make it that you got to have 60 votes to do anything. But Kristen, for Republicans crossing over and giving that measure 51 votes, I think still sends a message that Republicans better get on the ball on this issue.
I think they're starting to understand. But let's jump into the Wayback Machine and remember, it was just a short time ago when the government was shut down. And the Republicans said to the Democrats, come to the table. Then we'll negotiate with you about these ACA subsidies. And here we are with the Democrats trying to maintain these subsidies for another 3 years, not indefinitely, for another 3 years. And the Republicans coming back and saying, how about $1,000 for your HSA if you qualify? The counter argument isn't even really actually a concept of a plan. They're just flashing dollars in front of people's eyes and saying, come on and take it. It's not working, guys. You have to invest in American healthcare.
Last I checked, and I'm only picking on you because you're an OBGYN, but I could pick on almost anything. But the average birth does not cost $1,000. It costs many, many multiples of that, if I'm not mistaken. I mean,
my monthly premium is nearly $1,000. $1,000 doesn't go anywhere. And by the way, you wouldn't be able to use this money for your premium. So it's a joke. The whole situation is a joke. They are so unserious about healthcare for Americans. And I think Americans are starting to see it, which is a huge opportunity for those of us who actually want Americans to have good, solid, affordable healthcare.
Joan, are they starting to see it? Are they finally figuring out that after 15 years, Republicans still have nothing other than being opposed to something that was working?
Not only have people figured it out, Republicans know. The same day the Senate voted not to extend the subsidies, Don Bacon, not known as exactly a liberal Republican, Don Bacon, the Republican congressman out of Nebraska, said that if they don't find some way to extend subsidies on at least a short-term basis, he said voters are going to take a sledgehammer to the Republican Party. Don Bacon said this on the Capitol steps yesterday morning. They know what they're doing. They know the trouble it puts them in. I really am very puzzled by this. John Thune could have gathered up a few more votes, had this thing behind him in the rearview mirror, never have to deal with it again. And yet they're giving Democrats what it might possibly be the most potent issue to use against Republicans in the last 10 years.
And by the way, Kristen, we noted this in an article yesterday in Politico, that there are probably about 24 Republicans in the House who do want to see something in terms of extending the subsidies. But the far right members of their caucus said only if they can attach strings that would include more restrictions on abortion rights. Of course.
Yeah, it's always about abortion to them.
It's always about the war on women here.
Abortion is healthcare. Abortion is healthcare.
Exactly. Jim, you were following again those big cases at the Supreme Court about whether independent agencies will even exist anymore, and removing one of the last barriers to unlimited corporate cash in our election campaigns. In both cases, these struck me as things that John Roberts for decades has wanted to do and has bided his time, and now appears he and the other conservative justices. Did you hear anything at all in those two arguments to think that either case might not go the way that the far right wants them to go?
certainly as the case on Monday, which is the Slaughter case involving the president's firing of Rebecca Slaughter, FTC. This is the Humphreys executor case. They're going to overrule probably a 90-year precedent that says, you know what, the president of the United States of America should not be able to terminate people in independent agencies. That's the way Congress set it up. Appears from the overwhelming oral argument on Monday that they're primed to say, Mr. President, go ahead and do just that. A stunning result if that happens, not only for the FTC, but all the other federal agencies. Fascinating to see what they may do with that federal agency, that independent agency called the Federal Reserve. Jerome Powell, again, the head of that right now, probably leaving in springtime, but still fascinating issue there, hugely problematic for the future of independent agencies. And then we have this other argument on Tuesday, a little less clear, questions in all directions about whether or not we should change the campaign finance laws to empower political parties to contribute directly to candidates. It all has to do with money, of course.
Let's pick up on that after the break here, Jim, because I want to get that keyword out one more time. The keyword is polar in our grown-up gift list text to win contest. You've got till 8 o'clock to text that in and be eligible for a daily prize and for grand prizes on this final day of the contest. And then when we come back, Jim will pick up on whether there's going to be any kind of limits on corporate cash and other ways to keep our politics anything but clean, sadly, in this day and age. I'm Pat Kreitlow. You're up north. All righty. This here is the 5-minute break if you got to refill your coffee cup or anything, and then Jim will pick up on that. I should remind you, or I should tell you, because you haven't heard it yet, this segment normally wraps up at 7:49. It's going to wrap up at 7:44, 5 minutes early, because we've got a kind of a seasonal feature that we do. So when you see me starting to wrap you up around 7:43 or so, that's it. So you'll be good for the hour. Kristen, if you want to hang around for quiz time, you can, or pop out and pop back in.
Happy to.
And then, I'll make sure I get all the promotional notes out there as well. So I'll see you all in 4 minutes.
Sounds good.
Conditional approval for Exalt Cattle CA1. This is labeled for the treatment and prevention of New World screwworm. In addition to, it is indicated for the treatment and control of cattle fever tick. So both of these have been on our radars and are certainly excited to now have this as a tool or resource as we think about the potential devastation of New World screwworm and cattle fever tick.
Dina Hardy, the technical services veterinarian with Merck Animal Health. She says this product is already approved and used in many countries, including Mexico, Brazil, Australia, and Argentina. Stick around, I have a look at the markets right after this.
Next on our Corn Hall of Fame tour, Pioneer brand Power Core Enlist corn.
Ooh, look at all the trophies.
Yes, Power Core Enlist beats competitors with a 7.7 bushel per acre yield advantage. 3 distinct modes of pest control action and unsurpassed herbicide flexibility mean above ground pests and weeds can't win.
But what if they try?
They wouldn't dare.
Plant the 100th season of Pioneer. Visit pioneer.com/powerup.
You'll want to book this adventure with me and holiday vacations. We're headed to London, Wales, and the Lake District, March 22nd through the 31st. Starting in London with a guided city tour on to the Churchill War Rooms. We'll continue with immersive visits to Ludlow Farm Shop and Lower Drayton Farm. Then relive the legacy of the Fab Four at the Beatles Story Museum. Finishing up with a tour of Quarry Bank Mill. Find details at holidayvacations.com. Keyword Pam to request a brochure, watch a travel show, and book this tour.
Yesterday on the close from Chicago, cash corn closed up 2 1/4 at $4.46.5. New crop corn closed up 1 1/4 at $4.65. Cash soybeans closed up 2 1/4 at $10.93.5, and new crop soybeans closed up 2 3/4 at $10.98 1/4. Cash wheat closed up 4 cents at $5.33.5, and new crop wheat closed up 3 cents at $5.49. Taking a look at those dairy markets, 40-pound block cheese closed down 1/4 penny at $1.34.5, and AA butter closed up 1/4 at $1.48. To stay up to date on the latest Wisconsin ag news, be sure to visit our website at MidwestFarmReport.com. And while you're there, sign up for our e-newsletter. That'll have the latest, most current Wisconsin ag news delivered straight to your inbox every morning. For the Midwest Farm Report, I'm Kylie Allen.
Your neighbors are talking. Leaders are deciding. Madison's story unfolds daily on 92.7 WMDX.
Cloudy today with some snow by late this morning into this afternoon. It won't be much, a half inch or less of accumulation. Our high today, 25. Tonight, mostly cloudy. We're going to drop to around 1 below zero. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a high of only 5 above. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable.
Outside now, it's 4 above. Listen to the Civic Media exclusive podcast, Busted Pencils.
We'll start with you, Johnny. What's your policy on students having their headphones in during a class?
I'm going to say that I think Johnny feels very stoically about that right now. He has to think very, very, deeply.
I mean, it's always going. It's always a constant battle, whether I can get out what I'm actually thinking or if the thinking's in conflict with what I'm saying. It's a hot mess in there.
Subscribe to Busted Pencils wherever you listen to podcasts.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When is the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether
Pat,
it's for
don't forget 30 seconds.
Thank you. Welcome back. It is 7:35 on this Friday morning, December 12th. I'm Pat Kreitlow up here in Chippewa Falls. Nice to have you along. I shouldn't say up here in Chippewa Falls. We got Tony listening in Ashland and other places going, "You're not up north, we're up north." Oh, close enough. It's our grown-up gift list text to win contest. And no matter where we are in the state right now, we can agree the key word for this hour is polar. Because, baby, it's cold outside. POLAR. Text that in by 8 o'clock and be part of the Grown Up Gift List Text to Win contest. Your next chance to enter will be during the 9 o'clock hour during the final edition of Matt and Air on Air with Jane Matt and Air and Greg Bach. Coming up about 30 minutes from now, we'll be talking to Mandela Barnes, candidate for governor, former lieutenant governor of the state of Wisconsin. We'll also have Mike Clemens along, giving us a preview of the weekend in sports. Then Monday on the program, we have got former Congressman Reed Ribble talking about health care, and Wisconsin Eye CEO John Hankus about how Wisconsin's version of C-SPAN might go dark as early as next week unless it receives some tremendous financial support, the kind that it should be getting from our legislature, but isn't. So stick around Monday morning for all of that. Back to our Week in Review panel now with Dr. Kristen Lyerly, Joan Esposito, Chicago radio host and former U.S. Attorney, Jim Santel. And Jim, I interrupted you before as we were getting into Supreme Court cases of the past week, and that includes a case on campaign cash, essentially what I would call, money laundering to get around limits to a candidate. You give it to the party gives it to the candidate. It all seems so crooked, and yet it seems like the justices were, not unfriendly to that action. But what was your impression of the arguments?
I think that's exactly right. Not unfriendly. Plainly, we've got at least 3 justices of the Supreme Court who are horrified by this proposed change in the law, but the others questioning kind of all across the board and certainly indicating we're not clear on where they're going to go, but certainly not suggesting that these limits are off the table, so to speak. And again, this is an effort, a Republican effort, to lift limits on how much money political parties can spend in coordination with candidates. It really has to do, Pat, with advertising in the end. It's a financial issue. And if they give the imprimatur to this, it'll enable, again, all parties, but especially, again, because of the economics of campaigns these days, the Republicans an awful lot more opportunities to buy low-cost advertising, which typically the Democrats have been able to get because their donors tend to come, again, lower dollar numbers directly into those candidates' campaign coffers. So interesting, kind of wonky, but very important for the future, 2026 included.
Kristen, you've run for legislature, you've run for Congress, you've seen the campaign limits. You and I have both talked to donors who, have to be cautious not to exceed those limits. And then across the aisle, we have seen just a complete disregard for any kind of respect for campaign finance barriers. It just sounds like it's going to be the Wild West for the foreseeable future here.
That's my question back to Jim and actually to Joan. We've broken so many norms here. This is such an unusual time. And I think about my Gen Z kids, this is normal for them because they don't know anything different. Mm-hmm. How do we proceed in the future? At some point, we're going to get past this and we're going to be looking back and trying to pick up the pieces, but we've broken this open. So where do we go from here when it comes to campaign finance reform and all of the rest of it?
One of the answers, I think, is, of course, the obvious one, which is that in a little over 300 days or so, we're going to be electing 435 members of the House of Representatives, a third of the Senate. If you really are concerned about these things, I know all of we are, listeners are as well. You look at people, maybe not through partisan lens, but you also say, who is committed to these fundamental notions and not breaking the norms and going back to where it has been? You send people to Congress. You can stop some of this from happening. You can also do congressional fixes to things like Citizens United and all kinds of other things related to voting, environmental issues. You can go back and revisit these legislatively. Maybe one day also getting a Supreme Court that's going to say, you know what, back in 2025 when we're doing all this, 2026, maybe not so much. And maybe we should go back and revisit it. That's a huge lift. That takes time. But again, November of next year, we elect the 120th Congress in our nation's history. Let's get it right and preserve the last bastion of democracy there in Washington, D.C.
It's all back to us to make a difference. Go ahead, Joan.
Jim, I don't know if you've been following this case, but I interviewed a lawyer who's part of the case taking place in Maine to try to get PAC money out of politics. And I said to him, I said, have you seen the Supreme Court we've got now? And he was like, no, this is different. And the way it's worded and it's going to go. And once we get PAC money out of Maine, the rest of the states are going to follow. Would be nice.
Right.
Would be nice.
It would be, and they can lead that way. But of course, as we know, as we've seen here in Wisconsin, you can take an appeal from the highest court of any state and bring it into the Supreme Court. And so who knows what may happen here. Good effort, though. The lawyer is absolutely right there. By initiating this, it begins to get people thinking about ways in which, as Kristen has just said, the norms should be back in place.
Yeah. But the thing about, having this much money in politics, and there's a lot of good in the governor of Illinois, but he's a billionaire. And is that what we've been reduced to, is only the billionaires can have access to campaigns and therefore to power as well, which leads to the last issue I want to go over is that the president has unveiled a so-called gold card that would grant immigrants the ability to receive U.S. residency in record time. The cost for this gold card, $1 million for individuals, $2 million for corporations. The website, this is a government website, the Trump Gold Card is here. Unlock life in America. The website also teased a platinum card, a Trump platinum card, that would allow foreigners to be exempt from paying U.S. taxes. The fee for the platinum card at $5 million. Joan, I don't have a question.
Well, Pat, when you say the $1 million, Austin, $1 million. I mean, the grift is everywhere.
It really is correct. I mean, Kristen, again, like I said, we've got, there are, billionaires as well who donate to progressive causes. But I think one of the cores of most people involved in progressive politics is that whatever their persuasion, whatever their stripe, we as a society should not have to rely on the benevolence of billionaires to get things done in this country.
I think of the history of Wisconsin. Every time I hear about this program, I think give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, right? That is not what's happening here. That's not how my ancestors got here. That's not how we built the state of Wisconsin, the progressive state of Wisconsin. We came here because we wanted a better life for ourselves and for the people who came after us. And we worked together to make that happen. We need to return to that collaborative community building spirit, not this, if you got enough money, you're welcome to join the club.
I hope it is not too late. The Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show can be heard Saturdays at noon across the Civic Media Radio Network. On Sundays, it's replayed. It's also on the air on Chicago's WCPT. You've got Amicus, a Law Review with Jim Santel, which airs Saturday mornings from 9 to 11, replayed on Sundays. And Joan Esposito, listen to her live, local, and progressive on WCPT Radio in Chicago weekday afternoons from 2 to 5. Thank you to all of you. Any of you I don't talk to in the very near future, have a good holiday season, or I'll be talking to you in the next week. Have a great weekend.
Happy holidays, friends.
Take care, everybody.
All right. Good to see you all. And now with that, let's shift gears here and continue on with our 12 days of community kindness, something that we saw Giving Tuesday, and we thought, well, let's just extend that a little bit. And so we've got 12 different examples of organizations around Wisconsin that are doing good things in their community. And we'll be talking today about the Richland County Campus Foundation. This is a group that is still active following the closure of the Richland campus for UW-Platteville. And they've got quite a few different areas that they focus on. There's scholarships that support local students through the completion of either an associate's or a bachelor's degree. They also do community grants. They support community organizations and their educational efforts. And also there's the continued care and use of something called the Smart Farm in that area. They award some scholarships. And if you want to learn more about it, the web address for it is richlandccfoundation.org. Again, richlandccfoundation.org for the Richland County Campus Foundation. A little extra to tell you about as part of our 12 days of community kindness. Kristen's sticking around with us here because, well, we didn't do a quiz last week, Kristen, because you recall our executive producer, Frank, was on a break, not like a relationship break. He went to Paris, yeah. So I think our weekly quiz is going to be back if I'm not mistaken.
Kristen.
Are you practicing your buzzer already? All right, good. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that was coming up. So heads up to you. And in the meantime, let's talk to Lisa Baling from the Richland County Campus Foundation, who joins us on the phone. Lisa, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
No, it's our pleasure. So we talked a little bit, just kind of gave a quick overview of it, but I'd rather hear, right from you, Lisa, about, what kind of work the Richland County Campus Foundation has been up to and how donations benefit your work.
So our foundation has been helping our community for over 50 years. We've been a part of the United Richland campus all the time in supporting our local students, our community, our faculty and staff. With the closure of the campus, we've had to kind of go down a different path. Basically, our main focus is at the scholarships to our local students. We know that it is so important for them to have the ability to go to the schools that they would like to go for higher education. And it's more expensive than attending the Richland campus. And so we want to be able to support them as they journey further from our local community and in their path to higher education. With our scholarships, we also have our community grants. The community grants came around after the campus closure due to the fact that we used to support so many educational programs directly on our campus. And now we're kind of turning that into supporting all of the different entities that are around us that are looking at doing educational programming, such as lectures or programming, swimming lessons even, helping our community just gain more and more knowledge as they, grow up within our community. And then our Smart Farm we inherited from Ray and May Smart several years ago, and our farm is still very vibrant and active, hosting programs out there. There's hiking trails. We had an apple picking event that we were able to support. So we still exist, even though the Richland campus has closed.
And you can learn more about it by heading to the website for the Richland County Campus Foundation. So that would be richlandccfoundation.org. Again, richlandccfoundation.org. Lisa Baling, thank you so much for telling us all about it. It's just a great example of, for various reasons, demographic, financial, political, there are these campuses that are going through tumult and closure. And I think you guys are really showing, how a community comes together and does it right when change comes to you. Thank you so much for being part of our program today.
You're welcome. Well, we're very happy to be a part of it.
Great. Thank you, Lisa, so much. All right. Still along the way, we will be talking to former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, who is a candidate for governor. And one more reminder, Polar is the keyword in the Grown Up Gift List Text to Win contest. You got till 8 o'clock to use that Civic Media app and text us the word Polar. Live from the lake, I'm Pat Kreitlow. You're up north. Well, that'll get your heart going.
Lisa, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yep. All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lisa.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Lisa.
So yeah, I was looking at my notes and seeing that we were going to make the pivot, and I saw that somebody had come on, so I was all ready to go to it. And then I looked down and I realized, no, there's no guest there. It's Frank. Frank has logged on.
Oh, hey, Frank.
Hi.
And so that's why I was vamping until I saw a note that the guest was on the phone. So
yeah, sorry, I should have put it into that chat sooner. I put it into the show chat on
I'm
Google.
not going to see that with 600 Polar words coming across.
I figure you keep it to the bottom, so I tried that. Sorry, I should have gone to the StreamYard one first.
That's okay. All right, so we got that. We got this. We got that. All right. Yeah. So anyway, that was a great moment, and there's no guest here. So Kristen, come back in. Talk to me quick. Yay!
Well done.
Yep.
Artful.
So I went to get myself a little gift for Christmas, because we've been getting all these catalogs and everything else. And have you ever seen a Stormy Cromer cap where they've got the
Stormy Cromer was from Kaukauna, Wisconsin.
Well, there you go. Okay. So I
my
guess
hometown.
I guess that's
yes.
that's
And if you go to the bowling bar, there's a whole little Stormy Cromer historical section.
Wow. So
yes.
I got one at the Leinenkugel's gift shop there many years ago. Really liked it. And I thought, well, I'd like to kind of get an updated one. And there's, there's all kinds of styles, and they show you how to take a measurement, take the tape measure and go around and then do this and do that. And so I was sure I'd measured my head right, but I did not.
It sits a little high.
It sits a little high, doesn't it? So
you look like a Civil War soldier.
So I will be repackaging this today and heading down to the post office. And that's what I get for trying to get myself a gift when I should be shopping for others. So.
That is a lovely small business I think it's in the UP now, but like great folks who are running it. And this is the time of year when you get your Stormy Cromers. I've got gloves too. Buffalo plaid gloves. Yeah.
See, this one's got a little state of Wisconsin on the side here.
Aww.
They can do that. They can do that with any state, so you can get that as a gift for people. Just get the right size. That's all you got to do. So
you know how it started? Stormy Cromer was a baseball player, and during the cold games, his ears would get cold. So his wife sewed flaps onto his baseball hat, and it became a thing.
Oh wow!
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Pat, don't forget 30 seconds.
Okay.
Stick that in your quiz, Frank.
Oh, man, that was one of the questions. Oh, I can't use it anymore.
Shoot.
Yeah, darn.
All right. 10 seconds. Nice to have you back at 7:52. Again, you have about 7 more minutes to text us the word Polar, Polar, On this final day of the grown-up gift list, text to win contest, multi-station, multi-state game from Civic Media, and another chance to play in the 9 a.m. hour. Frank Gargano is back from his little vacation and ready to administer the weekend review quiz here. I think. Frank, are you awake? How's that jet lag working out?
It's we're adapting. We're gonna play through it. It's like Jordan's flu game right now. I got to remember how this game works.
The Michael Jordan flu game. You're comparing yourself to the Michael Jordan flu game.
You know,
That's
Pat,
great.
tough
You know
job
what?
over here, but we'll get through it.
Every Chicago Bulls fan is throwing their shoe at you right now. How dare you, sir? Compare
He's a
anything.
Bulls fan.
I know he's a Bulls fan. I'm like, I cannot believe you would invoke that, but okay, that's all
Like
right.
any Chicago sports fan, if you work in Michael Jordan's flu game or the 85 Bears defense into any conversation.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, there's a documentary about the 85, the Super Bowl shuffle that is circulating right now. It's interesting.
It's interesting.
You know what? As a Packers fan, I respect that kind choice of word.
It's good. It's
Well, we are on
definitely
radio.
worth watching and seeing how it all came together and how they shot it way before the playoffs. They were doing great. And then they actually got their butts handed to them and they had to go in and film it the next day. And a lot of the guys didn't show up. It was a whole thing. That's why it looks so weird. Like Jim McMahon did not show up for the actual filming.
God, spoiler alerts abound over
man.
here. I mean, God, now you're going to tell us who won the Super Bowl that year. That's crazy. All right, Frank, you're back in the swing of things here. So you're going to quiz us on things we should have learned this week.
Yes, just a reminder, your name is your buzzer. And Parker, make sure you speak up so I can hear your name when you allegedly go first. Speak into the mic.
Allegedly.
Here's our running tally. The scores from previous weeks. Pat is in third place with 3 whole points.
How'd I get
Parker is in second with 5. And Dr. Kristen Lyerly just in front with 6 points.
All right.
All right.
Bring it
Moving on to question 1.
Kristen.
No. Please wait until the question is fully asked. Martha Stewart revealed this week that she wants to be composted when she passes away. Stewart has most notably collaborated with which famous rapper?
Wait,
Pat?
he said you have to wait to say your name until the question has been read.
I think what he meant is he should wait until the questions actually started to be read and not just blurt out before he even starts the question, Kristen.
We all know the answer is Snoop Dogg, Pat.
We do
But
all
I
know
was
the answer,
being
but
polite.
only. Well, see where that got you? You got a big old goose egg on that one.
Pat
So-
needs the point, so I will let him have the
charity
point.
points. I'll take
Charity
the charity.
Pat now has 4 points. Parker with 5. Kristen with 6. We are in a close race. Moving on to question number 2, the craziest sports story this week. Football coach Sharon Moore was fired this week for having an affair with his secretary. What college was
Kristen.
he the head coach for? Kristen.
Michigan.
It is the Michigan Wolverines without a coach. And that's all I'm going to provide as far as facts for that story. If you want to go down that rabbit hole,
No, thanks. No, nope.
you are welcome to do so.
Yep.
It's crazy.
How you do with that Michigan fan, Frank?
Moving on.
Moving on. Yeah. Oh, man. Parker, we got to get through this game. Taylor Swift's latest documentary dropped today on Disney Plus, providing a look backstage for which famous tour? Parker.
Hey, you heard me. Eras tour.
It is the Eras Tour. Parker now tied with Dr.
right.
Kristen Lyerly with 6 points. Did
Parker
anybody
is a
else go
big
to the
Eras
Eras
fan.
Tour, by the way? Pat, did you go?
No, I did not.
Anybody else like you went?
Hell yeah, I went.
Oh my gosh.
Horrible. Do you have bracelets?
I do. I actually had to make some for my previous job
Nice.
for the Eras Tour. Fun fact, we saw the Eras Tour the first night in Chicago, and then my wife left me on my birthday the following week to go see it again in Detroit.
Thank you for clarifying that. I was like, okay, clearly she did not like having you there. Anyway, moving on to our next question.
Question number 4, Jimmy Kimmel signed a contract extension this week that will keep him hosting late night through 2027. What network is
Pat.
his show on? Pat.
ABC.
I love that Parker
ABC.
said Pat.
It's because he said it first, so I started to
The
just
power of
it's the-
suggestion.
it's the
You all
same
want me
pup.
to catch up with you.
And catching up you are. Pat now has 5 points with Parker and Kristen Lyerly at 6. Question number 5. Chappell Roan, Mariah Carey, and Pitbull have been confirmed to perform on Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve this year. Who currently hosts New
Kristen.
Year's Rockin' Eve? Kristen.
Ryan Seacrest.
It is Ryan
Look at
Seacrest,
this.
and Dr. Kristen Lyerly retakes the lead. So after the end of today, Dr. Lyerly has 7 points, Parker has 6, and Pat catching up with 5.
Down the stretch they come. All right. I feel smarter. Look at that. You used up all your questions already, didn't you?
Look at that. Well, I've been...
Because nobody got any wrong. We didn't hear the buzzer at all. It's like we started getting smarter about these contests, or you're just so sleep deprived you throw out the easy ones for us this week.
It was a light news week for pop culture.
I have a question
I will say
for
that.
Frank.
Yeah.
In the past 20 years, how many Packer-Bear matches have the Bears won?
Past 20 years? So go, oh man.
I don't actually know the answer. I just wanted to ask the question.
Not a lot. Actually, since we have like a minute here, right, Parker? Let me just say this quick little, so we were in London, Bears-Packers game, and I looked at my wife and I said, there's a Bears bar like a couple miles away. Game kicks off at 9. We should go. And my wife looked at me and said, Frank, you have the rest of your life to suffer disappointment watching the Bears get beat by the Packers.
Wow.
You're in London. Let's enjoy the trip. And she was right.
She was right.
But you could do it on different continents.
Yeah, but it's the same.
Oh, if you go to packerseverywhere.com and plug in your location, you can find Packers bars all over the world.
Look how sweet she sounds now after coming off the top rope for Frank on that one. That was amazing.
Love you, Frank.
Love you too.
Thank you, everybody. We have Mandela Barnes coming up next, right after the 8 o'clock news, to talk about his campaign for governor. And then Mike Clemens previews the weekend in sports. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. That was absolutely a savage move right there. That was so that actually topped, Greg's birthday thing with me in terms
that
of
was
just
hilarious.
Oh my goodness. So
both were pretty good. I deserve that.
To be very fair, I love that rivalry. The whole history, the fact that the Packers would not be here without the Bears and vice versa. I mean, these two teams are so intertwined that it's just, I love it.
I think the one that broke me the most, even more than the NFC Championship loss, which is crazy to say. I think it was 2018 when Aaron Rodgers came out from the locker room after hurting his knee.
Yep.
That's second
and
half.
came from behind and won. I think that was the most mad I've ever been watching a football game.
Was that the game that the Packers were honoring Bart Starr at halftime?
Yes, I believe so.
The football gods love Green Bay.
They sure do. I'm so glad you admitted that. The football gods love Green Bay.
I have a story about that. So Bart Starr was not in good shape, and he was at Lambeau. And apparently, this is from
an awful night too. It was like cold and rainy
and snowy. It was like a beautiful winter night, but like not great if you're there. Pretty for TV. So Bart had a stroke, and he was nonverbal. And as they got to Green Bay and they drove by Lambeau, something activated, and he said, "That's where we did it." And he started talking again. And this is not like this is from Bart Starr Jr., who told me this story.
Wow.
And all of a sudden he obviously he wasn't able to like have, normal, great conversations, but he was able to engage a little bit after that because it just meant so much to him. And I carry that story in my heart when I think about how much the Packers mean to Northeast Wisconsin and to the people who live here and what that legacy is, who is part of that legacy.
And this is why the Bears didn't even stand a chance.
Nope. That's it. That's all she wrote. So, all right, gang, I'm going to bring Cole in here to get ready for Mandela. You there, Cole? Nope. You're muted if you are there. So I'll wait for you to unmute yourself. Or Cole, if Mandela's coming in on a different line, we can bring him in anytime for that.
Same changes that Madison is implementing, and there they worked.
The average sale price of a lot of these missing middle housing types was $600,000, which sounds like a lot, but the average market rate house was selling for $900,000. So it's 33% less, or $300,000 less for the missing middle housing types, which is a pretty significant difference for a lot of people who are looking to buy houses.
After passing that housing package, the Common Council has wrapped up work for this year. I'm Savannah Tomei-Olson, 92.7 WMDX News.
The Packers head west. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Packers play the Broncos in Denver on Sunday. Green Bay running back Josh Jacobs did not practice again yesterday. He's been dealing with a knee injury he suffered last month while playing the Giants in New York.
But it's just playing through it. Structurally, nothing is wrong, so you're not looking at it in the sense of like, okay, if I go out there, am I going to get hurt or make it worse? It's just you got to play through the pain, and that's a reality of a lot of people in this league and at this time of the year, so it just is what it is.
The Broncos are playing well. They've won 11 games in a row at home. Head coach Sean Payton talked about the Packers' defensive end, Micah Parsons.
As a player, he's extremely explosive. He's got unique bend.
I'll wait till he sits back down here.
A rare type player.
That's Broncos head coach Sean Payton. I'll have coverage this weekend from Denver with sports. I'm Mike Clemens.
Local news, real voices, and conversation.
There you are.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing really good.
All right. Bet you've had a good week.
A good week and a half now.
Yeah, week and a half exactly. Yep. So, all right. Well, you know this drill. You already look and sound good. So, we get the segment going in about 90 seconds. I'll tuck you back in the waiting room and see you in just a bit.
Sounds good.
All right.
Join me, Tom Hartman, each and every weekday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the Tom Hartman program right here on Civic Media. I talk about the issues that all Wisconsinites can get behind, from unrigging our economy so it works for all of us, not just the billionaire class, to improving our representative government, to delivering on the promise of we the people. Tune in middays right here on your local Civic Media station from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the Tom Hartman program. Tag, you're it.
This is Robert Pilot, host of Native Roots Radio. On our show, we talk about Native issues like treaties, protecting Mother Earth, and holding our elected officials accountable. You'll also hear from Turtle Island voices like Arvina Martin, State Representative Heather Keeler, Ruth Anna Buffalo, Dr. Anthony Stately, State Senator Mary Kunish, Robert Lilligren, and Bob Blake. Native issues are human issues.
30 seconds until we're back.
Across Wisconsin on Civic Media, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. Now, from our Lake Wissota studio, here's the founding editor of Up North News, Pat Kreitlow.
Hey, good morning. It's 8:06. Nice to have you back here up north on a Friday morning, December 12th. Parker Olson producing things down in Madison. Dr. Kristen Lyerly hanging around as well. Coming up Monday on the program, we will be talking to former Congressman Reed Ribble, who has some thoughts on the recent health care debate and Republicans' failure to bring up anything even resembling concepts of a plan at this point for affordable health care. That's on Monday. Also on Monday, John Hankus, the CEO of Wisconsin Eye, and the thousands upon thousands of hours of archival footage of state government and the live coverage of state government, that's all going to go dark as early as next week without some real financial help. And so John Hankus will tell us how the network got to be in those dire straits. Spoiler alert, this legislature has been run by a certain group for 15 years now. But we will keep this extremely nonpartisan and look for ways that Wisconsin Eye can be supported and continue to support the things that you are doing in Wisconsin government, what your elected representatives are doing, I should say, in Wisconsin government. All right, so a lot of political insiders, and by that I mean Dr. Kristen Lyerly, I mean consummate political insiders. A lot of Wisconsin political insiders are asking questions about Mandela Barnes. They're asking, can he win a general election? Can he raise the $50 million that's probably necessary to run for governor? He's getting all this attention from Republicans. Is that a sign of weakness, or is that a sign of strength? Kristen, I feel that there's only one way we're going to get answers to these questions.
Tell us, Pat. What is that way?
Welcome to the program now, Mandela Barnes, the former lieutenant governor and candidate for governor in 2026. Mandela, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, well, it's great to have you here as well. Thank you so much. It's been about a week and a half since you got in after, all of the speculation and parlor games, whatever else you want to call it. Tell us about the reception over the past week and a half.
Yeah, reception's been incredible. Really excited about the momentum. I'm really excited about the opportunity to continue to build off the coalitions that we already put together just a few years ago. People are ready for change. People are ready for bold leadership and a bold vision that's going to take Wisconsin to the next level. These are critical times that we're experiencing, not just here in Wisconsin, all across the country. But I think back about all the times that Wisconsin has played a key leadership role in pushing the direction of this country in a positive way. And that's exactly what this campaign is about, ensuring that we're doing the hard work to support our family farmers, our small business owners, and working people in general who've had a very difficult time that has only gotten worse with the Trump administration. We're here fighting for relief to end the era of paycheck to paycheck. We're going to lower costs on day one and make sure that Wisconsin is a state that finally expands our Medicaid program under the Affordable Care Act. No longer will we be one of 9 states that has yet to do it.
You have, of course, heard both sides of the coin about your Senate race in 2022. He almost got there. He's clearly popular. Let's get him over the finish line. And he didn't get it done against Ron Johnson, and so he's had his moment, and so we need to go in a different direction. So we now get to ask you directly why the one side of the coin is the fair representation of you running for governor versus the other side of the coin.
Well, I haven't just heard it, I've lived it. And I can tell you for a person who, may have that question, my response is, well, who has beaten Ron Johnson? And this was a 1-point race. It was the closest Senate race in Wisconsin in over 100 years. It was the closest challenge to an incumbent in the entire country. It was also one of the top 10 most expensive U.S. Senate races in the entire country until last cycle and throughout American history. But all that aside, I am reminded of why I got in this in the first place, why organizing matters, because I wouldn't be here if it were not for that. And I think about all the organizing opportunities we had in 22. Again, I can go back to those coalitions we built, and I can go back to conversations that I've had since the race. Now, I had a chance to, I've talked about this a number of times, conversation I had with Barack Obama the day after the election. And he talked about the race he lost for Congress and the work that he did after. And I have been dedicating, these last few years to organizing. I didn't expect to run for governor, but I looked at the work that we've been doing, whether it's with Power to the Polls and showing up in communities all across Wisconsin, increasing voter turnout, showing up in places like Green Bay to help flip the city council for the first time. And I couldn't tell you when. And also the nonprofit work with Forward Together Wisconsin that helped lower energy costs in real time for lower income families specifically. Now, we have a long road ahead of us. And I can tell you, based on, the question you asked a little bit earlier about the $50 million, I'm the one that threw the $50 million figure out there. We broke fundraising records. I raised more money in this state through grassroots fundraising without taking a dime of corporate PAC money than anybody in the history of Wisconsin. And that's why I know that we have what it takes. I know that we have the organizing capacity and also the grassroots energy to see this thing and cross the finish line victorious.
So this is a huge opportunity. What's happening right now in this country is scary and divisive. And it just feels like such a must win all across the country. But everybody's watching Wisconsin because we're the closest, the most tightly held state. We could go either way easily. And the seat that you're running for is maybe the most important piece of that. It's also a huge opportunity. If we can grasp this and take it in a direction that is truly for the people, maybe we could even get things like health care for all Americans and so many child care. I mean, so many of the other things that we all know we need and are suffering because we don't have. How far do you take it? I think I know where your mind is and I know where you've been, but how do you walk that fine line to make sure that you are addressing the needs of the people, but also staying in that lane that still is Wisconsin, which is like right on that razor's edge?
Well, like I said before, Wisconsin has been bold before in the way that we've approached governing. And I think that the way that people have led this state have ultimately led to larger change across the entire country. Wisconsin is one of the most fundamental and important pieces of this puzzle called democracy. It's not partisan to say that wages should be increased given the fact that we still have a 2004 $7.25 minimum wage. It's not partisan to say that every person in this country, every person in this state should be able to go to a doctor and not worry about a surprise bill. It's not partisan to say that our public schools are the foundation of our communities and they should be fully funded. And it's not partisan to say that people should have clean and safe drinking water and clean air to breathe. Now, given the fact that so many of these issues have been unaddressed or actually been made worse given the impacts of the Trump administration, the impact on our family farmers with the tariffs and the cost that they are now taking on that is driving so many more of them out of business when it was already a tough situation. Our small business owners who can no longer be able to pass down the cost of tariffs to their customers because they don't have the money to do it. And people are being laid off. I can tell you there have been more layoffs. The study just came out. The report was just released that there have been more layoffs than any time since 2009, which was a terrible time. That's when I got laid off. That's when I found myself on energy assistance. That's when I found myself on unemployment and food share. And I do not ever want to go back to that day, not personally, but for this country, for this state. The people of Wisconsin deserve so much more because we have given so much to make this country what it is. We have been on the forefront of change. And I believe that our better days can be ahead of us, but it's going to take the political will to do so. The energy from the people is there. The state legislature has refused to be with the people. 80% of people in Wisconsin support expansion of Badger Care. About the same amount of people support universal background checks for gun purchases. The legislature has been completely out of step. And that's why my campaign isn't just about becoming governor. My campaign is about making sure that we can usher in a new level or a new era of leadership that includes a majority in the assembly and a majority in the Senate. And not just a majority, a working majority that's actually going to show up and fight for people in this state.
We are joined by Mandela Barnes. He is a candidate for governor 2026. The primary is in August of next year. And by virtue of your Senate campaign, by virtue of being lieutenant governor, you have name ID, and Republicans have already seized upon that, have said very little about 6 other candidates in the race. But Congressman Tom Tiffany in particular, the presumed Republican frontrunner, has been attacking you. The Republican Party is attacking you. And so, again, I'll put that question to you that others are asking. Is it because they perceive that there's weaknesses on your part, or because you would be that strong and formidable of a Democratic nominee?
Well, let me tell you about name ID first. I didn't just get name ID because I showed up. I got name ID because I've spent time in communities. I've spent time all across the state of Wisconsin, deliberate time, not just campaign time. Time to talk about the issues that matter, whether it's water contamination, whether it is soil erosion, whether it's storm damage tours, whether it's visiting schools, whether it's showing up to work sites. I've been very intentional and very deliberate during my time as lieutenant governor to show up in all 72 counties the first year. And even out of office, I've still made my rounds across the state, sitting down, taking time to engage with people across Wisconsin. The name ID thing just doesn't happen because I've asked for it. It's because I worked for it. And I can tell you there is a real reason Republicans are directing all of their fire and all of their energy at me. It's because of the campaign that we are building. It is because they didn't expect me to even come that close to defeating, to winning that race in 22. I was written off a long time ago before in 22 in that race. And so for people to have seen what we were able to build and coming that close to defeating an incumbent, an entrenched incumbent, a twice elected incumbent, they see a real threat here. They take this candidacy seriously. And, I can't speak to why they haven't really mentioned the other candidates. But I know that we are building up the firepower to fight back. We're taking the fight directly to Tom Tiffany. As I said before, we have to be focused on November. And that is exactly what we're doing, because this is a person who went to Washington, not to fight for us, but to fight for himself and to express fealty to President Donald Trump when the people of the state of Wisconsin, specifically people in the district he represents, have been desperate for more. They have been desperate for change. They have been calling out to him for help with no response. The only person that Tom Tiffany responds to is Donald Trump. The only person and the only people that I'm going to respond to are those here in Wisconsin.
We've got time for one more question, Mandela, and it's about not so much the electability, but people also want to know what you would do once you're there. Some people want a fire breather who's going to be seeking out essentially conflict and try to win. Others want somebody who's going to be much more, bipartisan or managerial in their approach, but that means other people say, well, then they don't have their convictions. They're going to be mushy. In your own words, what kind of a governor would you be if elected?
Well, I'm going to be a governor that's not going to rest until we get the change that we deserve. As I've mentioned, we are calling for a Badger Care expansion on day one, calling a special session if necessary. And I've said that I refuse to sign a state budget that does not include Badger Care expansion. The people have been desperate for this for too long. Healthcare premiums continue to increase. And so this is about offering the type of bold leadership that's not going to roll over and won't say no. And I'm going to take the time and the energy to put in the fight that's necessary to make things better for every person in every corner of Wisconsin. We can't continue to wait any longer because Donald Trump is going to continue to make things worse. And we're going to need people who are going to stand in the way to mind the gap, to ensure that we are not having to deal with the worst impacts of this failed presidency, and show people what the Wisconsin way truly is. Making sure that we are a state that delivers real opportunity, regardless of your zip code, regardless of your region in this state, regardless of any factors that may have kept you down.
Mandela Barnes, candidate for governor. Great to catch up. I know we'll do so again often between now and August. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
Appreciate you joining us. When we come back, we will be talking about the weekend in sports. Mike Clemens will be along in about 15 minutes for that. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Go, and we are in a break, and you are good to go. Mandela, thanks so much. This was awesome.
For sure. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to coming back anytime.
All right. Have a great weekend. We'll see you.
Yeah, you too.
See ya.
Have a good one.
Okay, there we go.
Interestingly, Mandela's birthday is December 1st, and mine is December 2nd.
So many December birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there we go. I do not have any agenda for this segment. I have no notes. I'll probably come back to the interview and then maybe a little holiday stuff.
I think we should talk about the Democratic field for governor.
That's where I was going to start with here,
Mhm.
because it's our question of the day. There we go.
And I think there are there 9 candidates now that Brett is in the race?
Well, Brett Halsey would make 8, and the other guy, the beer vendor, already got out. But there are 7 realistic candidates at the moment who could raise the funds and put forward a credible campaign. So,
is that the criteria? Okay.
Otherwise, it's if I got to put on every beer vendor that announces they're running for governor, and it says I'm not taking this race seriously. So
I'm just looking at the field for congressional candidates in Northeast Wisconsin, and yeah.
This is too big for it to be a vanity project,
Yeah.
Anyway, what are you up to this weekend?
I don't know.
Good.
Not much.
Hunkering down. Very cold.
Your show?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My show. Yeah. We've got Kate Duffy from Motherhood for Good.
Shut up.
30 seconds left in a break.
Yes, ma'am.
Kate is killing it right now.
oh
She and
my
Kristen
God.
Bry have a show.
Yes. It's, I mean, you look, just her journey in the past 12 months
Mm-hmm.
is crazy. Crazy good.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that.
Nice to have you back at 8:22, and that interview with Mandela Barnes serves as a reminder of our question of the day. Which candidate is in the strongest position right now to be elected Wisconsin's next governor in the 2026 election? I mean, not if the election were held today, but based on, your own looking ahead to November of next year, which candidate is in the strongest position to win this race? And Kristen, it was a great conversation with the former lieutenant governor, but I know that there are 6 other Democrats in the race who would beg to differ and think that, they can make the case between now and August that any one of them would be the strongest candidate.
I have opinions.
All right. And so now it's time for Kristen Has Opinions.
I love that we've got such a robust field for the Democratic nomination. I think it's really great. I think they're all kind of saying the same thing right now. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they set themselves apart. You asked the question about name ID, and Mandela definitely comes in with the biggest name ID, having run against Ron Johnson a few years ago. And people know who he is. People have opinions, which is good and bad. I mean, we all saw the New York Times article and then the article in Urban Milwaukee. His race, this is not a slam dunk. It's a controversial race. So really, it's wide open, and it'll be fun to see how they define themselves, how they get out and meet Wisconsinites, how they fundraise. Ultimately, it comes down to fundraising. That's how we get engagement from across the country. But I think one of the biggest challenges is that our primary is not until August. So in Texas, the primary is in March. Then you know who your opponent on the other side of the aisle is, and you can campaign against them for 9 months. It's not that way in Wisconsin, and that makes it a lot trickier.
Yes, it does. Let's see. Since we jumped right into a meeting with Mandela Barnes, let's bring in an update from Tigerton. Rob says, good morning from Tigerton. Sunny and 0 degrees. He says it's warmed up 2 degrees since then. A cold weather advisory tonight into Sunday, so stay warm. He said, luckily, no plowing snow. Usually we'd get a snowstorm before the real bitter cold, but this one was just a few snow showers. He says, I'll be looking for a car this weekend online. Had pizza at Blazer's Bar and Grill in Split Rock. I love when he calls it a suburb. Of Tigerton. Yep. Reminds everybody to keep your pipes warm, and says his sister Lori used to work at Lambeau Field. She was an elevator operator and got to help Bart Starr in a wheelchair. Lori told me Cherry Starr was a very sweet lady, and she hugged my sister Lori. So kind of goes with what you were saying about Bart Starr earlier.
Very sweet. Very, very good people.
I don't believe we've mentioned a few times that the Dr. Kristen Lyerly show can be heard on Civic Media Saturday mornings at noon, and also on WCPT radio in Chicago. We did not get to the point of asking who you got this weekend.
I have Kate Duffy from Motherhood for Good.
Oh my goodness.
The moms are organizing, and we have a lot of opinions about things like, hey, should Robert F. Kennedy Jr. really be commenting on breastfeeding? We don't think so.
Let me tell you something about Kate Duffy. 12 months ago, shortly after the presidential election, when they were still coming on regularly as part of Motherhood for Good, I'm speaking accurately. I'm sure I'm not speaking out of turn. She was morose, because we all were. I mean, yes. she was so down in the dumps. Everybody else was. We were all going, what do we do from here?
And she just had a baby.
She just
had a baby.
Yeah. And saying, well, where do we go from here? And you know what she did? She went to go do something from here. She didn't. Some people are still sitting on the couch going, well, where are we going to go from here? She just grabbed her camera. She started making videos. She started making connections. She is doing, the explainer videos that every news outlet should be doing about why is this story in the news and how does it apply to your life? And it's all from the perspective of, of a real mom. And I'm amazed at the energy and the volume that she brings into sharing this message, but you can clearly tell how important this is to her.
A real mom with a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. So she is a busy real mom, but she also looks at her kids and thinks, I can't let this be your future. And I think she recognizes, and because she was there too, and I was there too, when you're young and you're raising your family, you don't have a lot of time to pay attention to what's happening in the world. I mean, those of us who are immersed in it, we're talking about this all the time, but people who aren't are talking about other things. How do we get these political issues in front of people who otherwise aren't paying attention because they can't, and make them interesting so that they will engage and actually vote in a way that will be impactful, not just when it comes to the presidential election, but city council, county boards, school boards, all of those things matter. And the work that she's done and the way she makes it so beautiful and enticing and personal is just, it's miraculous. We're so lucky to have her here in Wisconsin. And I hope you'll consider listening to our show. We're on at noon all across the Civic Media Radio Network on Saturday and Sunday, 5:00 p.m. on Saturday on WCPT, and then wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube at Dr. Kristen Layerly.
Yeah, get yourself signed up for all these things. The crux of the dilemma facing anybody in political communications, whether it's talk show hosts or newsrooms or anything else, is we're always hearing, well, if you talk too much about politics, you're tuning people out. People don't want that. On the other hand, you have to say things several times for the message to get through. And there are people right now who are finally hearing enough about Trump and what Republicans are doing in Madison, with the whole catch kits thing and everything. And they're starting to turn. And they wouldn't turn if you just said, well, they don't want to hear about politics, and so we're not going to talk about politics. You have to have that right mix of conversation. And, Kate realizes that. You realize that with your show. The last thing we need is a show that is like completely anti-politics. The issues are just too important. It's about finding that right balance.
You got to find the balance, and you have to recognize that if you don't take a side at this time in history, then you're
yeah, it's the old saying, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. Yeah, and that's exactly what is happening here. Let's see. So we've got the game against Denver coming up this Sunday. So I have to ask every week. You're not going to Denver for a meeting or anything, are you?
Warm and cozy in my living room watching with my people.
All righty. Well, Mike Clemens is going to help us preview that game, and then the one 6 days later in Chicago against the Bears. I'm Pat Kreitlow. You're up north. All right. Do you want to hang on all the way through, or do you want to peel off and go get stuff done?
Why not? I got nothing to do. I have almost checked off everything on my urgent to-do list. There's the urgent to-do list, and then there's the I really ought to get this done.
Yep. Yep. And then
just
sometimes...
just so you know, I may have to interrupt you while I screen mic because the phone screener isn't working.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. The phone screener isn't working.
I did not follow up with you about talking later this week, so I should tell you that I have time today and random time next week too. So
okay. I just figured you're like, screw him.
I just have been juggling too much, and I taped 2 episodes this week. I also had a great conversation with Missy Hughes. We'll air that next week.
Oh, good. Okay. Good. Let's see. Oh yeah, supper clubs. We're going to do that at 8:52.
Oh yeah,
that was in the newsletter today. Yep. I got a whole bunch of voice tracks to cut for the best of shows, and I am finally. I wrote a cryptic note to myself in the calendar, and I could not remember what it was, and it finally just popped into my head. Oh, Pat. Sometimes I hide things from myself in plain sight. Anyway,
what does it mean? Don't leave me hanging.
There was in my work calendar here. It just says FP3.
Oh,
just like, FP3. I've been sitting here for an hour going FP3. What is F? I went over and looked at my personal Google Calendar. It just reminded me that Sherry set up something. We're having our third meeting with our financial planner, talking retirement stuff. So, Mike, are you there?
Hi, Pat.
Hey, Kristen Lyerly is here too as well. So just wanted to say.
Hi, Kristen.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Very good. Appreciate your posts all the time. Great information. Good job.
Thank you.
That's awesome. All right.
Yeah.
All right. We got your notes here. Any other changes or additions?
No, none that I can think
All right.
of.
Nope. That works out just great. All right. We'll get going in 2.5 minutes. We'll see you in a little bit.
Stand by, sir.
All righty. And then Kristen, as far as us chatting today, now that I know what FP3 stands for, I am free from the end of the show until 10:30, and then from 11:30 to 12:30, and then from 2:30 onward. So,
whatever is best for you, with the caveat that after 3, I'm not available.
well, no, if you've hung around this long, if you want to talk after the show, we can do that.
Let's do it. We're on a roll.
I know. Just keep her going.
Mm-hmm.
Keep her moving.
Keep her moving.
Yep. Okay. And then I've got the marathon of voice tracks to make for young Parker here.
I know it doesn't look like I'm trying to minimize how much you're doing when I send you about 2 screens worth of stuff.
Nope.
But
That's what it's here for. We're getting it done. So
keep her moving.
Keep her moving so that we can have some time off over the holidays. That is just fine. So let's see. So next week we've got the fellow from Wisconsin. We've got Reed Ribble, which Jamie booked that. So I wasn't sure. It's not like he's got a book or anything, but apparently he's had some strong words to say about healthcare. So that's where that came from, Kristen?
Yeah, he was just at UWGB. He and the poli-sci professor here are good buddies talking about healthcare. He is very frustrated with the Trump administration. And he is he's a standard old school Republican.
Yeah. Yep. Very much so. Okay. And yeah, that's it. That's good. All right. We'll get going with Mike here in just about, well, I'd say there is
30 seconds left in a break.
Wow, I
can't do it early, Pat.
Psychic. There we go. All right. Here we go.
Psychic for clocks. Yes.
Clockic.
Welcome back. It is 8:35 now, and Parker Olson's here from Madison. Dr. Kristen Lyerly hanging around. Mike Clemens just mere seconds away. But to lead into it, it's just sometimes the scheduling gods give you a solid.
You one.
They give you one where they go, because sometimes a game goes so poorly that you actually want to say to your team, you know what, take a week off. And that's exactly what the Badger men's basketball team needs. And that's where Mike Clemens is going to get things started, because that was not a pretty game against Nebraska. Mike, good morning. A little time off is just what the doctor ordered.
No, and, the Badgers men's basketball team head coach, Greg Card, is a very, steady, even-keeled guy. He was mad post-game because the first question was, gee, you lost 90-60. Never really were in this thing, halfway through the first half. And he said, we don't have a defense. Now, we haven't had one all year.
Whoa. Strong
Here
words.
we go. Hello.
Correct.
And he kind of went on a bit of a rant about that. And so he what do you think you could do? Well, we got 9 days here to figure out. Maybe we'll, have some maybe plenty of time to make some changes. You think?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, this is great guard, man. Yeah, the Badgers started out as a ranked team this season.
You're right.
They lost one, non-conference game, kind of preseason. I think it was Providence on the road. They lost one other one. So they fell out of the top 25. Nebraska is off to their best start since 1977. They're 10-0. They're rolling. They're ranked like 23rd or so. So the Badgers go down to Lincoln the other night, and they're playing, and pretty soon Nebraska got an early start. The Badgers, to me, it looked like since their shooting was so poor, they were like 7 for 33, 34 in three-point shots. They never let anything set up, right? They just go down there trying to put up one of their three-point shots, and bam, there's Nebraska with the ball again. Nebraska's got this kid named Rink Mast. He's 6'10", standing there underneath the bucket. He had 10 rebounds, 17 points. He's from the Netherlands. Now, he seemed to be intimidating. And
Seemed to be.
Huh?
Seemed to be. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he looked like something out of a James Bond film. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it went from bad to worse. They ended up losing 90-60 by 30 points. Now they have a 9-day break. I think maybe that's kind of an end of the semester kind of a break where the players can finish up for class. But they're going to take on Villanova next week, Friday. And, they got plenty of things to fix there with the Badgers men's basketball team right now.
But now, of course, you talk about Villain. Now, all I'm thinking about calling it up right away. Richard Keel is the actor I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Just classic.
Exactly.
I could totally see him standing under the basket for Nebraska getting this done. And I guess I wondered, and you can dissect this thing, any way that you want. It's like, well, were they looking past the game? Were they antsy to go on their break? Is it much more strategic? Parker, you were saying that, you had seen earlier, one kind of way to beat the Badgers, but in this game, you feel like you saw like a couple of different ways to beat the Badgers. So I don't know. Parker, I'll ask you first. Do you think they were just looking past the game, or do they really have to do something different with their defense?
I think they legitimately need to do something different with their defense. Greg Gard, he was on them right after in that press conference, and I'm sure he was right on them before that game. He is well aware that they've got to lock in, and I'm sure they were, and they just did not have it at all.
No, and when you take out John Blackwell, and you see this group, this team, they're so used to dominating in scoring, and when that's not happening, then they start reeling, and it takes them out of rhythm. It takes them out of getting down and setting up for defense. Well, they're going to be playing lots of defense in practice over the next week and a half.
Oh,
that's for sure.
Without a doubt. And again, so that'll be next week, Friday, hosting Villanova. And of course, that game will be on several stations across the Civic Media Radio Network. Now, it has been a slow week for the Bucks schedule-wise. So they were not in action until last night, and they were taking on the Boston Celtics. This has not been a memorable time for the Milwaukee Bucks, or perhaps, Mike, it will be memorable as the end of a golden era. I hope that's not the case, but they really needed that win that they got last night over Boston.
No, the Bucks had lost 10 of the last 12 games, and that's even when Giannis was playing. Then he goes down with that knee injury, misses 4 of those games, comes back in 3 minutes into his comeback, if you will. Then he goes down with, thank goodness, not an Achilles, but a calf muscle strain. So he's out the next 2 to 4 weeks. And with the NBA Cup tournament going on, which they weren't in, they had a little break this week. And so Doc would come and talk to us once a day during those practices, and he stressed at the start of it, our spacing. It's our spacing. And especially, what are you doing standing around next to the guy shooting the ball? That's the last person you're supposed to be next to. We get possession, we get down, to the opponent's goal, spread out.
You're not a tight end. You're not supposed to block for the guy shooting the ball.
Well, this is junior high stuff. But,
yes.
Whatever. It's these guys. So last night, that's the first thing out of his mouth. He says, we spread out. We move the ball around. So, hello, Kyle Kuzma, 31 points. Bobby Portis Jr. coming through. Now the Celtics started out with a 10-point lead. Celtics are still good this year, even though Jason Tatum's out for the year with that Achilles. They had 2 or 3 other guys that were out too, one with an illness, one with a knee. Celtics came in last night to Fiserv Forum, had a 10-point lead, and the Bucks came back a couple of times, and then they put a nail in it toward the end of the game to win 116 to 101. Celtics are in third place, behind the Pistons in the Eastern Conference. So the Bucks get a nice win at home. I think they're like 8-7 now at home. They're 3-8 on the road, and they will go to Brooklyn now on Sunday to play the Nets at 5 o'clock.
I have to confess right here, because we talk about the NBA Cup tournament a lot, and I legit thought that this was just a slow period on the schedule. I didn't realize the Bucks were already out of contention for the Cup.
Yeah. So they took advantage of that break, and they got a couple of practice sessions in, perhaps, hopefully, just the right time. But that's a good win at home to maybe find here's our identity. Here's how we need to run this thing without Giannis, because the team is supposed to be built all around Giannis, who's averaging 28, 29 points a game. It's hard to lose that.
It is indeed. All right. Finally, of course, we've got the Green Bay Packers are heading to Denver. They're going to take on the Broncos. It's 3:25 kickoff. So pregame begins at 1 o'clock on Civic Media stations in Richland Center, Park Falls, Racine, Kenosha, Wautoma, and Ironwood. And so what are we thinking? Again, we're trying not to look past this, because, yes, there's another game against the Bears, and it's only 6 days after that. But I feel like that's what the Packers did earlier. They were looking ahead on the schedule and ended up losing to Carolina. I would love to think that they're a much more focused team now as they head out to Denver.
Yeah, Packers coming off the win over the Bears. Exciting game, came down to essentially the last play of the game. Packers win that one 28-21. Caleb Williams, who, by the way, Mike McCarthy was on McAfee yesterday, and he called him Caleb Williams 2 or 3 times before McAfee had to say, Mike, it's Caleb. He turned bright red. Caleb Williams, the quarterback, is rolling around, and in the first half, with that Packers pass rush, Micah Parsons and company, he was erratic and threw a lot of incompletions. He settled down, and he moved, but he moved to a launching point and threw it, and then he got things going with that Bears defense. Got back into the game. It's 28-21, and now he's down to the 16-yard line in the Packers territory on a 4th and 1. Ben Johnson, their head coach, maybe made a game management bad decision there. He should have run it to clock the game, but or at least take control. So Caleb rolls out to his left, and Keyshawn Nixon is covering DJ Moore. He's up on the right-hand side, a wide receiver, and now he's in motion in the backfield. So Keyshawn's following his guy, running through the backfield. Cole Kmet, one of their star tight ends, he's lined up on the left-hand side, and he squeezes out. And next thing you know, he's in the end zone, standing there all alone. And so Caleb is rolling out. He's got this big bunch in front of him. So he flips the ball to the end zone. Keyshawn Nixon sees this out of the corner of his eye, like, oh, my God, runs over there, leaps through the air, and intercepts that ball in the end zone. End of game. Packers win 28-21. Great, tremendous game.
And you could see that. I mean, it was one of those things where the play was like happening in slow motion. You could see the Bear standing there in the end zone alone. He was alone, and like in that split second for Keyshawn to have the presence of mind to change direction and get there in time. And again, in that split second, you're thinking, nope, he's not going to get. Oh, he got there. Oh, he got it. And so you're filled right away with thoughts of, that's great. We're going to win the game. And even though, I'm a Packers fan, not a Bears fan, my mind immediately went to what every Bears fan was thinking. Why aren't you running this thing?
Right. They think, hey, this is it. We're going to tie up this game. We may go for 2 to win the game. And it's just a dagger, just an absolute dagger for, the Bears fan. Like, not again, not again. So, that might be the defensive play of the year so far, outside of Micah Parsons' sack of Jared Goff to end the Thanksgiving game.
Yeah.
And I asked LaFleur about it on Monday, and he didn't want to say about it, and so then someone had to bring it up. And go, well, Evan Williams, the safety, told us it was his responsibility. He should have dropped back and picked up that tight end. So it was a great play by Keyshawn. Now you roll through to they're playing the Broncos now on Sunday at 3:25. I'll be leaving for Denver tomorrow morning, so I'll have coverage for you on your show on Monday. And they're taking on the Denver Broncos that are 11-2, and Sean Payton took over, the guy who coached the Saints, the guy who was up for the Packers job back in 2006. Remember, and they hired McCarthy instead. And so Sean has led this team with a great defense. They've got 55 quarterback sacks. They smother teams. They good players on the defensive line and on the back end with Patrick Surtain, their cornerback, and so that's going to be the challenge for Green Bay on Sunday. Josh Jacobs, their star running back for Green Bay. We talked to him at length yesterday. He's been dealing with this knee injury he suffered last month against the Giants. They rested him during Vikings. He played in the Lions and Bears game. Did you know he had an MRI on Monday after the Bears game? Because he's in so much pain with his knee. There's swelling, there's fluid. So I think he'll still go, but they're resting him this week because that's the only thing they can do for him. Is the best thing for him is rest to try and alleviate the pain when he plays in these games on Sundays. So we got that going on.
We got to watch out for that. All right. Mike Clemens, he will be in Denver following it all for us, and we always appreciate the update on all the weekend coming up in sports. Mike, travel safe. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Pat. Talk to you Monday.
All right. We will talk to you a little later on here. And again, Kristen, I think that I think they will be a more focused team this time around. I mean, they have to be. They can't make a mistake like they did against Carolina again.
I think that they are hitting their stride.
Yeah.
We've seen the last couple of games. They've been focused. They've been fun. Yeah, it's going to be a good weekend.
Now the bigger question, though. Do you have Peacock? Because we now know the Packers game against Baltimore will only be seen. Oh, wait, you're in Green Bay.
I'm in Green Bay, baby. I always get the Packers. I'm an owner.
You're an owner. Of course. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Parker and I might stop over to watch the game just in case.
Come on. You got room on the couch?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a big couch. I can make appies. Yes. Let's go.
All right, we got some final news and notes from Lake Wissota coming up in just a bit. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Final episode of Matt and Air on Air coming up soon. Stick around.
I was going to make a Toyota-thon reference there.
I could put a fire in the fireplace. We could all go outside and watch Mike McCarthy clear the snow out of his driveway. That was fun.
Your boys don't do that for him?
No.
Okay.
He's got a whole little setup, so I think he enjoys that. Is the impression that I get.
He enjoys moving the snow?
I think so, because he's got a little self-contained, fully equipped snow mover thing.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Some people like doing that. I like shoveling snow. I like shoveling. I don't want to take out the snowblower. I just want to shovel it.
I like I don't want to say the repetitiveness of it, but there is a weird charm to those kinds of tasks. This is so mundane, but it's so easy, and I can turn off my brain and do absolutely nothing.
It's meditative.
Yeah, it is.
And then you're outside, and unless you're having to do it because you're in a rush and you're stressed out, if you have time to do it, and maybe the sun is shining, and you're just it's just nice.
Until I go, oh, my back. Oh.
You got to switch sides.
That's usually the next morning. Oh, switching sides? Oh.
You got to switch sides. You got to do your stretches.
Stretches.
Yes,
I've says, what's a stretch?
I've got it. Sunday, come early. We'll do some yoga. I'll start a fire, make some appetizers, watch the game. This is all developing.
I like this developing social calendar item. So put your address up here on screen. Everybody come over. It'll be a big party.
If anyone else wants to come.
BYO,
I can see Lambeau Field from I sound like Sarah Palin, from the chair where I watch the games. If I look out my window, I can see Lambeau. It's in the distance. So when it's dark and they score, there are fireworks.
Yeah, right.
So for the Bears game, I was kind of watching out of the corner of my eye, and nobody expected that to happen. And I saw the fireworks and I was like, what just happened? And I had to wait a few seconds to actually see it on TV. It was glorious.
I have that with my phone. The phone does live scoring, and it updates before the TV. And so, there have been a few times where I've do I bite my tongue or do I go? And sometimes I'll go, hey,
breaking news.
Watch this. I won't spoil it. I'll just go, watch this.
I have that
so
for
cool.
the Brewers, but not the Packers.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's nice. It's like a little quick psychic moment. Like, ooh, I should pay attention.
Something especially
cool's
as a
gonna
news
happen.
guy, because you know,
30
like when you have it
seconds.
for that little grain of time before everybody else, that
Yep.
precious little grain.
Yep. And Parker, I'm going to go through all the things here so you can keep the music up. Well, not up, but under.
Up and
I
under.
get your groove.
I know you do. All right. Here we go. All right, here's where we thank everybody who made this show possible this week. That includes the former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, another candidate for governor, Joel Brennan, who was with us yesterday. State Representatives Christian Phelps and Angelina Cruz talked to us about funding for special education. Superior Mayor Jim Payne, all about how communities in Wisconsin are wrestling with affordable housing and looking for creative solutions. Richard Trent from Main Street Alliance gave us a national small business perspective on the things Washington is doing that are not exactly helpful to our hometown entrepreneurs. My thanks to Joan Esposito, former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel, Ruth Conniff of the Wisconsin Examiner, financial expert Sean O'Malley, Joe Zepecki, Melissa Baldoff, Dan Hagan from Newswatch 12 in Rhinelander, Earl Ingram from Civic Media, along with Jimmy Koska, Chad Holmes, James Kelly, John and Gordy, my Courier Newsroom colleagues, Cam Stevenson and Keya Vakil, my Up North News colleagues, Ellie Bordeaux, Sharita Booker, Selena Heller, and then from folks who are very nearby here, Greg Bach, Parker Olson, Kristen Lyerly, and then last, but definitely not least, Jane Matnair,
Jane,
who is about to kick off the last rodeo. And I mean that in a very happy way. Great career, going out on top. And this is going to be a fun little show to listen to coming up in just a little over 10 minutes from now.
I was on yesterday with Jane and Greg, and I actually got a little verklempt because she's brilliant and she's great at what she does. She's so easy to listen to. She's so much fun. I'm really going to miss her.
I know. Well, I have a feeling because we of a certain age, we have talked about retirement and the things that we will do and not do. And I don't think we're done hearing her yet. I'm sure there will be some visits and guest appearances and maybe even a guest host now and then if you get bored, So I hope so. But first, I want her to go have all the fun. Whatever's on that list, go have all the fun.
It's
and not just the chores, because I know she's got a lot of chores. She's downsizing the house, but go do the fun things too.
You retire and you think you're going to have all this time, and it just never works that way. Nature hates a vacuum.
Yep. Oh, does it ever? Trust me.
Almost as much as I hate my vacuum.
That's my my whiteboard. I put up a whiteboard in the little hallway right by the garage door, and Sherry always tells people, "Boy, I bet he regrets that because if there's white space on it, there's going to be a to-do list," and there is. I have not mentioned the newsletter today on the Locals Love section. I said we were going to talk about supper clubs. There was a section on there today, and so some of the readers sent in the following: the Ranch Supper Club in Hayward, McGregor's Blink Bonnie in St. Germain, Dreamland Supper Club in South Range, Pinewood Supper Club in Mosinee, Digger's Sting Restaurant in La Crosse, and Schaumburg Dinner Club in Randolph. So just a few of the places that got shout outs from folks.
I really want some fried perch right now.
Oh, wouldn't that be good? Yeah. On the sad side of things, I'm looking over in the news channel for Civic Media, and they're taking note of a WISN report that says the Bass Bay Brew House in Muskego is fully engulfed in fire. Probably will be a total loss in Muskego for those folks there. So very unfortunate news. But a reminder, as I was saying with Ellie the other day, supper clubs are not exactly proliferating. You got to go see these places before the owners retire or things shut down. So if you've got a favorite steak joint, as I would call it, get out there, get yourself an old fashioned, and spread some cash around with your local businesses.
And have some fun, create some community. I remember being a kid and going to the Highland House in Kaukauna, which is no longer there. And you'd walk in and you had your waitress and she knew you. And there was this banter and it was fun. And Jack, who owned it, sponsored my softball team. It was about so much more than getting a meal.
Can I tell you that at one of the places here, Wausoda Lodge, when we walk in, when Sherry and I walk in now, they know exactly what table to take us to. They know which one is our favorite.
Norm.
We're just like we've become Cliff and Norm of Wausoda Lodge. This is great. And the brandy old fashions are already on the way.
Except you are kind of both the Cliff and the Norm, because Sherry is just delightful and I can't label her with either of those.
No, you really can't. No, she doesn't. You can't pigeonhole her for casting cheers. No, not at all. Hey, on Monday, as I mentioned, we're going to have John Hankus from Wisconsin Eye talking about the financial straits that company finds themselves in for covering Wisconsin government, but also former Congressman Reed Ribble from your neck of the woods up there in Northeast Wisconsin, who has some thoughts he wants to share on healthcare. And as I was looking through some past articles here, I mean, he was warning people back in 2015 that Donald Trump either wants single payer, like in Canada, or he doesn't know what he wants at all, because he has literally been all over the map on healthcare. Donald Trump has, and Reed Ribble recognized that right away.
Reed Ribble is your old school Republican, former small businessman, focused on the economic stuff, and he has been incredibly consistent, moderate, happy to work across the aisle. It's too bad we don't have a Republican Party full of Reed Ribbles. That would be brilliant, and oh my gosh, our country would be so much better off.
Well, because you'd have people interested in governing, not so much ruling, which is where we kind of have things right now.
And people who cared about the people.
Yeah. It is going to be one cold weekend here, and I've never been so happy to just not have plans. We didn't set it aside to be a no-plan weekend, but I'm sure glad now. There's plenty to do yet to get ready for the holidays. Kristen, do you have to wander out of the house at all?
No, I don't know that I've had a no-plan weekend in years.
All
so,
right.
yeah, I'm going to
Look
do
at
that.
that.
Exactly what you said. Tuck it in.
Parker?
I think I've got nothing. I think I'm going to hunker in and watch some football all weekend, and
That's-
I will be a happy camper.
Yeah.
It will be a hunker down weekend. Will the River Falls football game, will that be streaming someplace?
It is on ESPN Plus. Yes.
It's on ESPN Plus. Okay, so River Falls continues in the college football playoffs. All right. Well, thanks, you guys. Thanks, Parker. Thank you, Kristen. Have a great start to the weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right. We'll see you on Monday. There'll be all kinds of fun and news to share with you. Again, thanks to all of our guests, and thanks to you for being here this morning. I'm Pat Kreitlow from Up North News. Up North News is the Wisconsin outlet for Courier Newsroom, a pro-democracy newsroom, building a more informed, engaged, and representative America. Follow us on social media and at upnorthnewswi.com. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday morning, 6 a.m., right back here up north. And that